Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the sex, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck, sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge, look at the Czar.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On the channel we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? An amazing show for you guys today. We're live on the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be absolutely insane, guys, because Dog is officially listed on Kraken. Yes, a Bitcoin Rune is now for the very first time on a tier 1 exchange, guys. We're going to dive into this deep, and yeah, smash the like if you hold Dog, guys. Let's see how many of you guys actually hold Dog. But we got Bitcoin right now at 106,608. Bitcoin's been sideways here. It's been sideways for a really long time. It feels like, I mean, I want to say since like Tuesday, we've been between like 106 and 108. So we'll see what happens here. A lot of really big headlines though, especially coming from the White House. So we'll get into a lot of those. Yeah. And we got a video from Kraken about Dog that we'll jump into a little bit later. But without further ado, let's bring my partner here. As always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
man? How you feeling today, bro?
Feel great. It is a great day, monumental milestone moment for the Runes ecosystem, but happy for the Dog army because I'll tell you what, those guys are absolutely crazy. Number 1/2, depending on how you look at it, by Cookie.fun in terms of a mind share socially. And it is a big day, right? And it's not just getting listed either. It's getting support from possibly, a centralized exchange that will be fighting for, a top 3 place in at least like the US markets, right? I think they have a good shot at that number 2. Obviously, it's gonna be really hard to overtake Coinbase, but they got a lot of energy and innovation behind them. So I wouldn't be shocked if they, pose some sort of threat there. But excited, man. I'm excited for the Runes ecosystem. This is a big win. Let's take advantage of it, though. You see the blueprint of success with Dog, $1 billion cat community, Gizmo, Bro Bear. You know what to do. Get loud. Put belief behind what you're talking about on X and other socials, and you may have that similar success.
Yeah, 100%. Kraken didn't spend 6 months creating their infrastructure for Rune. Opportunity for a lot of communities to kind of get loud and show Kraken like, hey, we are next for you to list, whether that's Magic Internet Money, whether that's $1 Billion Cat, whether that's Pups, right? It doesn't matter. Get loud. Show them that we are here and we're not just Dog. I mean, Dog Obviously, absolutely huge, right? What Leonidas, Vincent have done for the Rune ecosystem is monumental, right? But it just doesn't just stop there. I guess that's my point there. But I want to show this video real quick and kind of get the people hype a little bit. So we'll
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, ready? But look at this real quick. This is the opening screen. I don't know who Joshua Rosenberg is, but basically, look at Dog, 86%.
Yeah, starting to see that more and more.
Well, let's play this. Let me know if you can hear it. That is so dope, dude. Leonidas is walking with all the Dog army. That was so dope. So cool.
Yeah, the transition from the runestone to like that Bitcoin and the eye of the dog is what gets me like really pumped. And then you see the Dog army, and then obviously that next scene is awesome, right? But we've never seen anything like this before, to where look, there was not a big allocation given to Kraken's team or nothing like that. This is complete belief in the idea that if you miss Bitcoin, you have a chance with fungible tokens on Bitcoin. And I feel like this is the opportunity for fungibles to do well within the Bitcoin ecosystem. And for the Dog army, you guys have done like an amazing job. But what Shizzy said, go back to the Kobe playoffs. I forgot what year, but job not finished, right? Job not finished. Job finished? No, job not finished, right? And so it's like you got Kraken. Who's next on the doorstep, right? Who is there? Because this is the thing that we're seeing. We're seeing a resemblance of 2020 and Doge making that big push over, to be that socially viral meme token. And Dog is the one since then that could be as big, if not bigger. And you love to see it, because I'll tell you, so many people have faded Rune so hard and trashed it and all these things. Whether you agree if they had reason for that, I could kind of be on both sides of that argument. But HODL culture is the ones that get through that, right? And that's what we need more than anything in our space right now.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people that hated Runes just had giant bags of BRC20s. Right, I mean that seems to be,
or
they didn't sell the top like everyone who, you know what I mean, like they held too long. It's the round trippers. That's the people that hate on Runes.
Yeah, and Runes didn't hit that market kind of peak that everybody expected it to, but it was the timing was really not what we expected it to be. You had some really big influencers from across the crypto space come in, and they didn't have like a good taste in their mouth. But hey, that might be a good thing, because those type of people, the KOLs, the ones that like coordinate and stuff like that, they're always used to getting what they want, like a good payday off of promoting something or this and that. But this is almost teaching people how to HODL something you truly believe in.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously today's show, Bitcoin Runes, Dog now on Kraken. What comes next for Runes? Like what's next now? Are we going to see more Runes listed on Kraken? Does Mim have enough firepower to be listed on Kraken? Does Billy? I don't think so. I think so. I think in the future, yes, but tomorrow, next week, next month, I think these have to get a lot louder. I think we need to see these guys right here, especially the top 4 behind Dog, really need to get louder and kind of take advantage of what we're seeing from Dog.
Yeah, I agree with that, right? But at the same time, yes, take advantage of the momentum, but follow the blueprint in terms of truly believe in what your movement is, your community, with Magic Internet Money being that first meme with the historical significance to it, with Bitcoin, $1 Billion Cat having a strong IP approach to it, really strong, funny meme community with them. Gizmo, really different, unique, has the puppet aspect to it in terms of like the art and the community is pretty crazy there. And then of course,
Yeah.
Pup, you know, so and then you have Bro Bear and a couple others there that can really take advantage. But I would say this, like, if look, the dog army showed it through belief and holding. A lot of people held, you know, but these other ones, not necessarily so much, right? And so if you want that similar success, you got to do what they did. And also don't just ride on Dog's coattails here. Yes, Dog done a lot for the entire Runes ecosystem, Bitcoin's ecosystem, actually, bringing the attention over here. But Dog's army is still going to focus on Dog's goal, and that is to continually bring awareness to Dog token, which is the most free and fair type of distribution, and then also getting more centralized exchanges, reputable ones, right? Not to pay to play. So if you're in those other communities, just you need to, you know, follow that blueprint, get some spaces going, have consistency, show the entire crypto space that, like, you know, going into a 5-minute Solana meme coin that shot up to, you know, 50 million, 100 million, and it has a huge allocation for the team to pay off all these centralized exchanges is not necessarily the way to have success. And it's actually through belief and cultism through our, you know, the meme industry.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And in my opinion, I could be wrong. I think Shiba was one of the best things to ever happen to Doge, in the sense of it brought in a second community with its already built community that's been there. So Doge was around since 2013, so it already had a built-in community. Shiba kind of brought in a newer, younger crowd, and then they all were holding Shiba and Doge. Everyone who posted Shiba posted Doge. Everyone posted Doge posted Shiba, and I think we can get the same thing here from Dog and a lot of the other ones, right? Like, you know, I think the best thing that can happen at Dog is for the entire Runes ecosystem to emerge and explode.
Yeah, I agree, because what it would do is give confirmation to the, you know, people that were like, okay, Dog, what is Dog? Oh, it's a token on Bitcoin. Okay, cool. What is there any other ones? You know what I mean? What does their ecosystem look like, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a bunch of belief, true belief, I mean, that's what won here. It's like organic belief, right? You know, and it got to a point where you caught the attention of a huge centralized exchange that is in the perfect. I feel like this is kind of serendipity too, though. You kind of come at the right place at the right time for this community and army, as well as Kraken at the right place in the right time, because Kraken's been a big brand, but not a ton of people use it that we knew within our groups and stuff like that. But it's because they haven't had that opportunity to really ignite their brand and marketing and stuff, because they were tied up in court cases and all that stuff. That's gone now. So that's why I say they have that opportunity to be that centralized exchange with the spotlight on them, the cycle, and perfect matchup there. So I'm just saying, don't let this be just another like flash in the pan for the Runes ecosystem. Oh, you know, yeah, we're going to try to, you know, because there's bag holders here. Just, if you really believe in it, you know, the proof is in the pudding.
100%. And then to your point with Kraken, right? Kraken has 4 things going for it right now. Obviously, 1, they're a tier 1 exchange. 2, they just launched Inc., which is their base chain competitor, right? 3, they just dropped their Cash App competitor, right? And then 4, they're planning to do an IPO, right? So these are 4 massive things. The tier 1 exchange, you know, what is it? So tier 1 exchange, you got the app, the Cash App competitor.
Crack.
You got Crack, and it's just there's so much going for Kraken right now that this is just more momentum. Listing Dog and seeing, you know, I mean, let's go to Cookie for a second, right? And then if you go to Cookie and then just type in Dog, or not even, just go to Cookie.
You don't have to.
In the top, you don't got to type in Dog, because Dog's #1 now is officially beat out Coinbase. I mean, look at this. This is a coin running on Bitcoin right now.
That is
with
nuts.
number one here. I mean, and the Kraken's just riding that momentum, right? So
yeah, no, I agree. But the more crazy thing is when you started to, you know, pre-show prep, you started showing me the time frames, and you're like, look at the 7-day, look at the year, and Dog is, you know, the first one, meme coin wise. If you go year to date, you know, it's if you go to year to date, look at that. So the past 6 months,
everything.
Yeah, it goes Bitcoin, XRP, Tron, and then Dog, and the next meme coin is Pepe, which is like 3 tokens down. So this is why we say there's an opportunity to do something as special, if not more special, than what Doge did in 2020 here. Yeah. It's true belief. It's not some runaround, you know, KOL groups that have this BS kind of, you know, dumping on everybody's head. There's whales, of course, because that's a part of the game in general that buy from time to time, and there's going to be new whales that come in through Kraken, et cetera, et cetera. The question is, which centralized exchange is going to have to be like, they're going to have to bend the knee? And Lee and I said that before, like Binance will bend the knee, Coinbase will bend, they will all bend the knee. If this social like viral power keeps happening, that is an absolute true statement, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And if we can stay here, I know Dog got hype right now because of the listing on Kraken, but I think that Dog could eventually stay here. This could be home for Dog right now.
Why not?
At number one. The Twitter engagement is just absolutely insane right now. And you do, let's just say you go into Dog, right? There's some big hitters. I mean, obviously Leonidas, Vincent, right? But Dan's been somebody tweeting about it for a while, but he's huge on Cardano, and now he's getting bigger and bigger in the Bitcoin. And it's just like Kelly Kellum, right? This guy Shizzy, who's a freaking amazing. and then you got like Hennick, right? So Hennick, right? So you got some really big players here who tweet about
is a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Keyway, Jupe, J-Dog. I mean, these are some legendary. Well, now Colin talks crypto, right? I mean, Colin is, we talk about him every single day because of the his research and finding the Bitcoin versus M2 money supply. He's one of the first accounts to really tweet about it, even before Raul Paul. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, but yeah, man. So, but yeah, it is cool to be on here though. I'm not gonna lie, number 16. Well, yeah, man. So. Let's just finish up with Dog before we move on real quick. I do want to shout out some Dog people in here. We do got Coco is here. Kokoi,
yeah.
Shout out to you, my friend. Your first time here. Hydra Sapien, man. Dog legend right there. Patty Poo, Bitcoin Machine himself, man. All you guys, man. Stan says is Dog on Liquidium?
Yeah.
Yes. You can take a loan out on your Dog.
Yeah. For sure.
And then he said Alkanes on Kraken. No, I don't. I mean, it's maybe next year.
Yeah, I think they're gonna really assess what this type of influence of the Dog army, listing Dog, looking at other parts of the Rune ecosystem, and look, Alkanes has momentum, but I think they have momentum. They're at the steps to where it's just within the Bitcoin ecosystem right now. We'll see if it continually grows. They're doing good stuff. I gotta give them their kudos. They've been able to develop a meta protocol that has been able to have computation off chain index, but it's okay. That's what Cardano does anyways with their smart contracts. So we'll see if, how fast they grow.
Yeah, 100%. And real quick, speaking of Dan, right? He actually posted this video. He said, yes, Dog on Bitcoin can flip Doge. Yeah. I mean, think about that for a second. That's already a 60x potentially from where we are right now.
Yeah, and you have to remember, yes, Doge did launch in 2013, but you have to remember it got dumped hard. It didn't really become significant market cap wise until 2020. You know what I mean? Like it was still, it was still, I was small, very small compared to where it went. And it had no liquidity pools. Doge is a UTXO chain. It was just a fork of Litecoin and stuff. So like the people that are so caught up on Runes only can be successful with smart contracts and liquidity pools. Look, Doge was successful without that. Litecoin was successful without that. And they've been able to thrive. So it's basically, if you have enough support, social support, and centralized exchange support, then you can reach 100 billion market cap, like Doge almost did, right? It was right there if it didn't cross that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm in the camp that says, Bitcoin is what it is, right? You have Alkanes developing UTXO logic through off-chain indexers, cool. And you have some other stuff with Spark developing, but it doesn't need to have that computation on Bitcoin layer 1. These are assets that were birthed on Bitcoin. So with that being said, you get the strong enough army behind it, it's going to hit multiple billion market caps. That's my true, honest belief in it.
1,000,000%. And there's a lot of things that Dog and Doge have like that are the same, right? There's a lot. Doge is on a UTXO type of chain, right? You do not have liquidity pools or anything like that on Doge. Same thing with Dog. I mean, you can argue and say DotSwap has liquidity pools and stuff, but that's very new. It's a very new thing. So I'm just really kind of talking about the last like 12 months. And we are getting stuff that is getting built for the first time on Bitcoin. But Dog and Doge are very similar in the sense that they need tier 1 exchanges to go next level. When I say go next level, I mean be open to a lot of newer people. For retail needs to buy, and we're not going to go to where we want to go with Dog without retail, right?
Yeah.
And some might argue that retail is not here. Every single holder right now of Dog is retail until today.
Yeah, I agree. And also, someone had commented in my post about this is the first step with Kraken and et cetera, tier 1 exchange, and they said don't forget, Runecoin was listed on a prominent exchange when launch came out with OKX, and I said don't compare OKX to Kraken because there's no comparison there. OKX was a complete pay to play situation once Runes launched, and they got paid, they listed, that was it. Kraken is throwing so much marketing power behind this, so much support behind this and the Runes ecosystem, because they had to build out their own custom way of making sure that the indexing was good with Dog. They was matching up with Casey's indexer, all that stuff, right? So I don't think that Kraken built all that stuff, took all that building time from November of 2024 to now just to only list Dog. It doesn't make sense, right? So I think they're going to be a big supporter of the Runes ecosystem. We'll see where it goes from here, but I do think the Dog army needs to keep pushing harder. Just dude, imagine it passing the market cap of Doge for real. Like, that will be such a celebratory day for the Bitcoin ecosystem, for all the Dog army holders, and of course Runes ecosystem is going to thrive as well from that.
Can you see that happen in this cycle, or is that a 2028?
Yeah, I mean, if things get really hyper aggressive at some point in the cycle, yeah, I could see it happening, especially if multiple centralized exchanges are on board with it, and this Bitcoin tokens meta takes off, because that's where I think they can really benefit and kind of have their bounce back, because they've lost a little bit of volume to the hyper liquids, to some of these approaches of doing, but then they're also bringing that on as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here. This is obviously a big day, but I think there's still a lot more work to be done, and this is a good first major step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking a 30x just to get to where Doge is right now.
Yeah, but
I mean, let's just say we get a bull run, Doge goes to 60. That's now we're talking about potentially, a 60
chasing that
or 120x. I mean, it could be something. A Dog could make a lot of people very rich, right? And very rich. And what happens when people get rich? They donate to foundations, and maybe a Dog foundation pops up, right?
They're loyal too.
Yes. Yep. So we will see what happens next, but all signs are pointing to possibility of we are just early enough to where we're going to make a lot of money, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But Leonidas says it's not about the money, right? He says, don't worry, you're not in Dog to get rich, but it is possible. So I'll just leave that there, but let's move along here. So today we had the S&P 500 hit an all-time high. We have the Dow Jones right sniffing its all-time high. Bitcoin right there. I mean, we are about 2%, 3% away from all-time high. Do you see a run here coming? I mean, we're seeing, the S&P all-time high. We're seeing the Dow Jones all-time high. Bitcoin's right there. A couple percentage points away. Do you see potentially it's time? Do you think, this? So Colin hasn't put out a new chart, and I don't know how to make this, right?
Yeah,
so I'm hoping that one day he doesn't.
I think he wants. I think he wants to make sure that this week we kind of have okay, are we really back on track, or was that what was that? Because that messed with everybody's head last Saturday, right? So also kind of having the weekend kind of go over, and we're okay over the weekend on Sunday night, see where we are. I think he'll probably put out a new chart to start next week, I imagine.
Yeah, 100%. As you can see, I think we should be somewhere right here now. So we're probably right here. So we did have a V-shaped recovery, it does seem like, and we can potentially get back to that 109. I am getting kind of a little bit more bullish than I have been, because I am seeing green again on my watch list. Obviously, you have Dog getting a little red here because of the big day it had yesterday. But you have virtuals in the green again, Eliza, Sonic, right, and a lot of Nvidia is up 2% today, which is a reason. That's kind of reason why the S&P has been driving so hard, and the Dow Jones is up a percentage point today too. Bitcoin dominance is in red, but it's at 65.8. So yesterday it was almost at 66. ETH Bitcoin is a chart that I'm really looking at right now for it to kind of go up here. And this is my house. I'm gonna get rid of some of these lines here. But this is my home. This is Benjamin Cohen was calling ETH Bitcoin needs to go home. It went home. And now it's just afraid to leave its house. But I do think that we are going to get some upward momentum here between ETH Bitcoin, and this is going to create the next leg of the bull season. So
yeah, it could happen, right? The good thing is it's not like dumping down to that all-time low, right? That we saw,
yeah.
or maybe it's a local low, yeah,
that's local.
Yeah, local low there. But like it's not. It seems like it doesn't want to hang out down there, right? It's like, okay, either sideways or we're going back up. And some of the the Max Payne price point, I keep thinking about that 2,600. That's pretty high for an options expiry. Whenever they had Bitcoin at 102, so. We'll see if it starts to develop strength, because I know that's something that you've been waiting on for a long time. Look, me too, because it brings excitement back. It brings that true new retail back in and says, oh wow, things are heating up everywhere. Now I don't just have to only buy Bitcoin. I can buy some other stuff here that can 100x possibly.
Yeah, Ethereum's going to be looked to me. Ethereum's going to be that retail item, right? That you are going to see bigger players play the game as well. We are seeing that, but when retail really gets back, I think Ethereum is going to be the token of choice this cycle. And I see Ethereum as like a college kid that just kind of like left college, went home for a bit, spent some time at home, and now he's ready to take off again, right? So we'll see on that one. But look at this chart right here. So this is Ethereum. I'm gonna get rid of my my thinking lines. All right, so this is Ethereum here. We had this downward trend and then broke out. So we are on, but we need a second leg here. And you go look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a very similar time there before it really popped out. This is the daily. Let's jump in. Yeah, that's the daily. So Bitcoin had almost the same thing where it kind of finally broke out of that. And I think that we all need to kind of see a leg up from Ethereum here to kind of continue this breakout here. I'm thinking it does come. I think it does come next week. I think we get back in the potentially 3-4 by November, which would be very similar to what Colin Toss Crypto is talking about with Bitcoin heading into the next leg as well.
Yeah, I would hope that we'd be a little bit higher than that by November, because we got 1 month left in the Q4 at that point. So, but hey, getting to 34 would be a good sight, I think, here in the next couple of months, and then we'll see. We'll never know. Like once Ethereum does turn it on, because it's been so suppressed, we might see something. We might see it jump, a bit higher. Maybe it, gets to that 4,000 and tries to, tease people with a all-time high. But we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. I do. I think Ethereum could just do something crazy. Maybe even before that. Maybe you're right. Maybe we head into the 4-4 range before we go a little sideways, right? And then that'll take us potentially. And then let's just say, that would be like July. So that would be no, July next year. Yeah, next year. That would be bad. Okay. So
yeah. But like getting there by like end of like maybe September would be good, and then like sideways between September and November, and see what happens in that Q4. What's the old song, huh?
I have it. I don't know, man. Let's see which one. This one, I think it is, right? Revolution, Bitcoin is the one, the most of the solution.
All right, yeah. So there you go. Were you hearing a double play or just a single?
No.
Okay, so I have it open somewhere. Okay, cool.
Okay. Were you guys hearing double play on that? It might have. But yeah, shout out to Patty Poo. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, my friend. But let's move along here. So okay. So ARK Invest sells 12.5 million in Coinbase. This is the first time that ARK has sold Coinbase. It's been selling Bitcoin to buy Coinbase stock, and now it's officially as Bitcoin gets close to the all-time high here. As Coinbase gets back to its all-time high of IPO day, they are finally taking, and ARK was one of the companies that bought on IPO day, so they're actually just getting back to center here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to see what they do with this. Obviously their strategy is probably really in depth and stuff to see what if they end up picking up more just raw Bitcoin, or maybe they're preparing themselves for an IPO that's coming up. You never know. I wouldn't be shocked if ARK Invest goes into Kraken. I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That would be pretty big.
Yeah. Just because like they're really in risk on in that mindset of like innovative tech, and Kraken is at least established, been around for a while, and this is really their opportunity to thrive. I truly do believe that about them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. I think I didn't think about that. Maybe they saw what Circle IPO did, right? They were a part of that as well, and they're just gearing up to have some cash on the sideline to get. I mean, the rumor has it there's 5 to 6 IPOs, crypto IPOs, that are about to come online. So we saw Van Eck go last week. The week before that, we seen Circle, and now potentially we could see Kraken. I mean, Kraken has the hype right now. They might as well do it, right? Especially with the Crack app and everything else. I mean, I love the Crack app, by the way. Like, I can't wait. I mean, I don't know anybody besides you on there.
Staying on. Well, I got my wife to download it. I was like,
oh, did you?
I was like, make this $75 referral, man. Right? I mean,
you only need one referral to get $75.
Well, so they have to do $200 worth of trading, but that's easy. Okay. Just deposit and buy some dog, buy $200 worth of dog, and then you get that $75 and throw that in there or whatever. And then, but I mean, yeah. So it's funny that the Venmo app is called Crack because we're gonna be staying on that crack, sending it back and forth to each other. But I need to test that out and see if dog's integrated yet on the actual Crack app, not the Kraken platform app. But I imagine it will be.
Yeah, I think so. I actually think it is. It might be. I think it's all the tokens, but look at Adamo, or look at his PFP there.
There it is, Mr. Yin and himself right there.
Is this the sign to buy some Mr. Yen? I don't even know where Mr. Yen's at. Oh my god, I'm down low. I don't even know where Mr. Yen is on this. What number is he?
I don't know.
Mr. Yen gets no love, bro. Gets no love. I love Mr. Yen though.
Yeah, I mean, look, probably the best meme account in Runes at one point in terms of creating. I mean, like those videos in the very beginning. I just like, the thing is, I get why the person behind the account got exhausted, because like, Runes lost a lot of momentum, right? And like you keep creating this great art. I looked at it as art. Actually, I grabbed some of my style from it a little bit. I was like, started using like these applications to create funny meme videos myself, and I'll just I bring Mr. Yen into it too. So I would love to see that energy back in a bull market, man. Right? That would be absolutely crazy energy.
Can we make Mr. Yen great again? Can we make Mr. Yen
great again? I think Mr. Yen's already great. We just got to revive him. We got to find him.
Hydrosapian said, "Is Crack available for desktop?" No,
it's not. But desktop.
But what you can do is there's an app. What's it called? It's called
BlueStack.
Yeah, BlueStack. Here it is. So just download BlueStack. I can actually show you what it is. So just go to BlueStack. I think it's .com. And then what you can do is, this is BlueStack right here. So when you go into BlueStack, whatever you can just go to My Games, and then I have the Crack app right here in the Tokyo wallet. So you can use this on your desktop, and you can download any app that you want for like the sense of the Kraken app. I can use like the Crack app. I can just go into it, and then you can create an account and stuff like that. So I'm going to sign into this when I get some time. But yeah, so this is kind of a workaround. It's called BlueStacks App Player. I actually learned about it through ChatGPT, and I've been using it ever since. So that's for anybody who doesn't know. Anthony Paladino says, just leaving NFT NYC. Oh wow,
is that right now?
What's going on, bro?
I thought that was in February when we went. What
the time we went was? I think it's different.
Yeah, maybe they just change it every year. But I don't know, man. Remember we went to the Pizza DAO party, and now there's a fried rice DAO. I think, dude, maybe like at the next Bitcoin conference, we might have to go to a fried rice DAO where there's a bunch of different fried rice there. These events are fun if you like pre-plan, but that's cool that you're there.
Dude, I'm down for fried rice. I
fried rice DAO, baby.
Let's go, man. All right. So you mentioned it earlier, but we'll kind of get into it. So Deribit settled 139,000 Bitcoin and 9,039 Ethereum contracts as Bitcoin options open interest. The platform surpassed 40 billion. So if you're platforms that do this for the stock exchange, right, the E-Trades and all those platforms, right, you got to be looking at the Bitcoin and Ethereum, and your mouth just got to be watering, right, because the $40 billion in contracts from these degens who take option calls on Bitcoin and Ethereum. But can you speak? I don't really know much about options. Can you want to speak on this a little bit?
Yeah, so the interest was $40 billion dollars, right? And the difference between options and just typical leverage and perps trading, which is way more prominent in crypto versus options being much more prominent in TradFi. The difference is that like you can open an option call or put, which a call would be like long, put would be like short if you try to compare. The difference with the options, you get a time frame, right? So no matter how, like, let's say you take a call put, which is comparable to a long, no matter how bad Bitcoin gets wrecked, you're okay up until that expiry date, right? So for the options, it was this morning at 3 a.m., but they probably opened it, I would imagine, like 4 months ago, 3 months ago, right? And so, but let's say you're up a lot in the first month, you can close your option out right there with the profit. So that in that aspect, it's kind of similar to leverage. You can close out whenever you want, right? But so at the expiry date in time, which was at 3 a.m. Central or 4 a.m. Eastern this morning, it went from 40 billion to 13 billion, meaning there was about 27 billion that was closed out along the way. But 40 billions, that's a lot of interest, I feel like, right? And initially I was kind of like, okay, what are these perps DEX going to do if options become really popular, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, that's, in my opinion, that's just another product I think they can offer, right? Once it gets like really integrated into our system from a DeFi level, that's where we're kind of like, it's a lot more centralized handled right now. But if it does come down to the DeFi level, you know, the perps and leverage DEX will just have another product to offer, I think, to the public, which would be great, right? Because not everybody likes to do leverage, and maybe they have a better skill set towards options, and vice versa. You never know. So,
yeah, and then Coinbase just opened up their perps platform. Starting, I think the 16th or 17th of July, you will be able to do. Anyone who has a Coinbase account can do. Even in the US, you can do perps with Coinbase, and what that'll allow you to do is it's only going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. So for the perps,
gotcha.
which makes sense for a lot of newer
start
people.
off with. Yep.
Yeah. But real quick, so I have a question. Let's just say I take a contract for Bitcoin. Say I say 140K by the 31st of July. And let's just say July 2nd it hits 140K. Will I get that same amount of profit if I take it that day, or let's just say it goes past that and it goes to 145 July 31st? Like when will I get most profit?
So the strike price is where you got in at, I believe, if I remember correctly. And so like if you got in at 140 and it went down,
I'm just saying I get in at this price now, and then I say 140 by July 31st. That's my goal, right?
Yeah. So well, it's if that's your goal, then that means your strike price would be at 106 right now. So if let's say you get to like 120 by the middle of July or whatever, then you'll see your profit percentage there, and it'll be based on your strike price. So in that aspect, is very similar to like the leverage like entry price, but you'll see that percentage gain, and you can either take your profits and close out that option right then and there, or maybe you say you think it's going to go longer. The difference is, I guess, it's kind of a downside and upside because you can't get liquidated within that time frame.
Yeah.
But if you want to roll the dice and you want more profit and you're getting close to that, expiry date, then things can get really tense at that point, right? And then you might just close out underwater or with a little bit of profit. So there's still definitely a lot of management that you got to do into it. But a lot of people seem to feel like options are a little bit safer, but it really just depends on what your risk level is and how you play it.
Yeah, and the greatest investor of our generation, Nancy Pelosi, she loves options. She takes year-long options out on Tesla all the time. So definitely something I want to play with, and I hope there is some platforms that allow U.S. citizens to get involved for sure. Jumping over the next thing here, BTC flips Google to become the 6th largest asset by market cap. So this is a big deal. Take a look at this. So we've officially knocked on the door of I feel like it's that meme of the death knocks on the door with the bloody axe, and it's Google, and now we got Amazon potentially next year, and obviously this is in euros, but then Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, who is now number one. We have some time to go here before we start knocking on these doors, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, especially if there's going to be a, period that most of us think that like Bitcoin, has this hyper uptrend period, right? Jumping from something like where we are now to like 140, a little bit pullback, and then jump into like 200. Yeah, I think at that point you're going to start seeing them get knocked off, one by one. But there's no doubt that it's going to be number two at some point, and then start to kind of have that distance. And then, at that point we'll start talking about gold and Bitcoin.
Yeah, 100%. I think it'll be this cycle. I think it'll be before the next halving. Bitcoin sitting there at number two, which means that it's over potentially $3 trillion. I think that's only a double from here. That means 200K Bitcoin, right? 212K Bitcoin. So definitely possible. Definitely possible. But shout out to Cryptolution, man. One of the generals of the dog army. I said bullish on dog, on Kraken, bullish on the Order Revolution. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you, my friend. Absolutely awesome. Anderson says buy dogs. Shout out to you, my friend. And Anthony Paulino says did a Pizza Ninjas pizza tour yesterday. I'm guessing the whole squad's there then. Trevor and but yeah,
makes sense for NFT NYC. Sure.
All right, so White House crypto czar David Sachs says July will be a big month with a bill signing for the Genius Act and clarity going to the Senate. So everyone's kind of saying July 31st we're going to have bills and potentially ETFs for some of these altcoins.
Oh, this is really, really good in terms of the guidance, right, for entities, because even now, like yesterday, whenever there was like this pre-deposit, it was like it said geographical areas apply, specific geographical areas restrictions apply. Very soon we won't have to necessarily see that as much. Obviously, in some other countries they got to respect that too, though, still. But this is getting better and better in terms of the legality aspect of it, the regulatory aspect of it. And so I love what I'm seeing from this administration with this. Obviously there was some stuff early on this year that didn't feel that great, but that's more to do with like that, the Trump entity and name. But this is kind of like work being done by the people that I think he put in the right place. The David Sachs, your Pierce's, that was more kind of internally, but it was a great kind of thumbs up, I think, from the administration that she was in charge of the crypto and digital aspect of it. But yeah, I think we're in a good spot from a regulatory standpoint. For the people that don't like these large entities coming in and banking coming in and stuff, look, for regulation to really come in is inevitable, right? They're big money, right? So I think you just got to be a bit smarter on how you play it, but you still have the roadmap. You guys are the ones that are native Web3 users. These entities are coming in after us, so we still have the upper hand. Just remember that.
Yeah, 100%. But what this is going to do, it's going to bring liquidity to the alt markets, in my opinion, right? Like, let's just say we could get a Cardano, XRP, and all the other ones, right? A lot of these guys who've been holding these coins for a long time, going back years, right? They're going to feel very rich. And what normally happens, that money kind of trickles down. They want to get into the next thing and the next thing. And those next things could be and will be things like Dog, will be Runes, will be BRC20s, and Ordinals and stuff like that are really going to pump our bags, because it's always about what's next, right? Yeah, I made my money. I was right. But what's next? And that's why you kind of always see Bitcoin and then Ethereum and then large caps and then small caps and then craziness like Hex, right? So, I mean, that's just kind of what happens. So we do need some clarity, which will bring on ETFs, which bring on big money entering, and a lot of the holders right now, the retail holders holding these coins now, we're going to feel very rich. So, but we will see.
Absolutely.
Well, let's jump into the crypto fear and greed here. So last week we were at a 48. Yesterday we were at a 50. We're right in between there. Is my hint for you today.
49. Yeah. That was a good hint, man. I appreciate you kind of taking it easy on me on a Friday.
I'll throw some curveballs once in a while, but yeah, just nice softball for you to hit out the park there. So, but yeah, I feel this. I feel neutral now. I think a couple days ago I said I was feeling a little greedy, and then yesterday I was feeling a little opposite. So I think this is perfect for me today. because it's just like neutral, right in between. You really can't get more in between than 49 and 50.
No, you can't. I mean,
but yeah, man. But let's jump into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're going to be going live very, very soon, probably within the next couple of weeks. Really excited for them because there is a lot of opportunity for our community. And when I say that, that means there is potential airdrops involved. We're pretty sure that when you're using Artura.finance, you're going to be earning points. We're hoping those points turn into the ARA airdrop for our community. Guys, we want you guys to be on there. But not only will you be able to air farm the Artura token, but potentially you'll be able to get some incentives from Botonics. We do hear rumors that they're going to be incentivizing the usage of their mainnet, which potentially could be next week, by using stuff like Artura and their DEXs and stuff like that. So really excited to start air farming Artura and getting some Botonics incentives. But not only will they be launching on Botonics, they're also going to be launching on Hemi. Hemi is backed by Binance. Hemi already came out and said they're going to have a token, and you're going to be earning points for that as well. So using Artura on Hemi could actually get you the ARA token, which is Artura's token, and then the Hemi token, which probably going to get listed by Binance. So really excited for the opportunities that Artura is giving our community. This is why we talk about this all the time. Artura does not have a token right now, guys. We are not shilling anything. All we're telling you to do, low leverage, low money, farm Artura points. And even if you don't want to do leverage, you can actually just add some liquidity there as well. We are very bullish on what they're building at Artura.finance.
Absolutely. Those guys are grinding right now, getting ready for this Botonics mainnet launch. So I'm excited about that. But before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, we got about 430 people listening in right now just from X and YouTube. So we appreciate each and every one of you guys. But share the space, right? That's the biggest thing, is try to get as many people educated on what is happening in the broader crypto ecosystem and with the content emphasis on the Bitcoin ecosystem. But on the YouTube side, smash that like for us, guys, and then subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, same thing, guys. Let's share the space. That goes for Abstract too. We appreciate all your help with that. But let's jump into some Bitcoin price action here, guys. All right, let's go ahead and jump back to the hour chart. Bitcoin is looking strong. Looking pretty strong. I mean, look at this extended sell pressure. Goodness, this was nasty, but looks like we want to come out of this now. We're sitting at 107, 120. So one thing I was really looking at and paying attention to was how were the options platforms going to try and bring the price close as possible to the $102,000 max paying price point for Bitcoin, because the closer they get to that, the more profit they can make. And they just weren't able to do it, guys. And that's a testament to how Bitcoin is really strong right now. So I love this. I think the closest they got was like low 106. We're sitting at 107. The options expired, so they kind of let the gas off the foot off the pedal. And so now we can kind of go back into our normal price action heading into the weekend. The weekend's been a little tricky. That we've always had a bad headline, so I'm gonna knock on wood here that we don't get one heading into the weekend. But look, I think Bitcoin looks strong. You can see right now the MACD looks like it's exhausting on the 1 hour chart. We have been down here forever. I think it's a time for us to jump up and show some strength here. The MACD line is also kind of curved up, like it wants to go vertical, right? So that's also a good sign. You can see right now we are just crossed over the oversold territory on the stochastic RSI. I love the way we look. Let's look at some support and resistance on the local data here, pulling the data back to this morning at 4 a.m. I'll use that. So let's kind of open this up here at the 107, 100 mark. Support looks really strong. We got it's lopsided on the support side. Same thing right above that. Below that as well, it looks like support is very, very strong in this range between 107, 200 to 107. So about a $200 gap. That support looks very strong. Even below that looks really strong. We really don't show weakness actually until you get to at 106, 800. So below, we're looking really good, guys. Where we are right now, we're looking good. Now we are showing some resistance right here at the top I guess right where that 107,200 starts, right? It's not bad. We're pretty balanced out with just a slight edge on the resistance side, but a couple big bids that come in from some strong well purchases, I think we could bust through above this. So I like where we're headed. I think maybe we get a pretty good first half of our Friday heading into the weekend. Wouldn't be shocked we get to 107.5, 108, and then I'll let it kind of go from there. But that's just kind of like a conservative bullish outlook, in my opinion, for the next 4 hours, 6 hours possibly. We'll see what happens when the pendulum swings, but the momentum's on the buy side here, in my opinion. All right, let's take a look here at the 4 hour. I don't know why it readjusted back to 1, but let me pull this up here. 4 hour. Hopefully we can get some confirmation of what I just talked about here. And the 4 hour isn't really showing me too much confirmation, but it's a little tricky here, right? Because you can see we came out of the buy pressure and started some sell pressure here. But remember, we are heading into the weekend, right? So let's see what happens with that 1 hour. 1 hour, we can get pulled out of this very quickly. And the next 4 hours, we can have like a weak candle, and then 4 hours after that, we might start a green candle again. We'll see what happens. But for right now, I'm not getting too much information in terms of what I think is going to happen for the weekend. And I typically don't like to use the 4 hour on a Friday, even a late Thursday, because the weekends are the weekends. Saturday's going to be choppy typically, unless we have a horrible headline, which again, knocking on wood, because last Saturday was horrible. But Sunday is kind of that reset day at the end of the day. So I'm not going to put too much weight into the 4 hour right now. And typically I do, but not on late Thursdays, early Fridays. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to see what happens with the 1 hour chart, see if that kind of changes things here. And then let's take a look here on the daily. I actually really like what's happening on the daily chart. Now, I've talked about the daily chart for Bitcoin for, this week was kind of the first week I really started talking more about it. It's because we haven't had consecutive green candles in 14 days. And then the ones that we had before that were two little, blips that were tiny. And then another almost 14 days, if not more, and then we had 3. So what I'm seeing here is a consecutive 2 candles. One was a smaller green candle. The second one was bigger, and that's where we are today. Let's finish today strong, and I feel great heading into the weekend. I think is going to be not necessarily the best data on the Saturday. Sunday, we'll get more data to see how we have, that 4th day consecutive. If we can get, kind of a choppy, maybe slight uptrend tomorrow, we'll finish green, fine. Or we stay about the same, get a little bit of a white candle. I'm okay with that. Sunday, end the day strong with a strong green candle. I'm feeling good for next week heading into July. All right, so that's what I'm seeing on the daily for Bitcoin. And let's get to the weekly here. Weekly has been one of these charts that I was extremely bullish on, and then got a little bit depressed about for a bit, right? Because we had last weekend and kind of last week too, the week before that wasn't the greatest, but it was kind of shaping into like this bull flag, right? We got the pole here, we got the bull flag pattern, and now it looks like we can kind of start our ascent if that is what's going to happen, right? So something similar to this. We got the pole, we got a little bit of the bull flag here, and then start the pole again. So will it happen kind of at the end of this week? Will this week be that start of that second poll? We'll find out on Sunday. If not, and we just kind of end kind of where we are right now, I'm completely fine with that. And then maybe next week will be that start of that, extended part of that beginning of the next poll to our next bull flag, if we get a bull flag on the next one, but you get what I'm saying. So I think we're okay. We're looking much better than we did. The exhaustion of the MACD is starting to turn around a little bit, not necessarily a bigger candle on the MACD, but we were seeing darker green. So I'd like to see us maybe finish at 108 to 110 on Sunday. I think we would get a pretty strong green candle, a little bit higher than where we are now. So looking good there. Let's go to the others, which is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10 established cryptocurrencies by market cap. And the others weekly chart's going to be very similar, other than, delayed reaction. So Bitcoin's going to look better if it's in a bullish, energy. And that's exactly what we saw, right? So we're seeing these 2 small green candles here, red candles. So Bitcoin, let's say it does finish at 110. Maybe we're trying to knock on a new all-time high, but Sunday evening, we're going to see a catch up here. So I think we just kind of sit back, see if Bitcoin does have a bounce back here. Also, pay attention to Ethereum. Ethereum had some unique things happen to it. A lot of people still acquiring a lot in terms of large entities, and that max paying price point from the options providers at 2,600, that was odd to me. That made me think that they think that Bitcoin, Ethereum is going to have a little bit more strength than possibly Bitcoin coming up in the near future. So we'll see. All right, let me get out of here and let's go into some crypto bubbles here. Looking at the top 100 with Bitcoin and alts, everything here, it's looking better. We're having a pretty decent bounce back day for a Friday. You're seeing some meme coins here. Pengu bouncing back 8.7% with an uptick. What else are we seeing? Trump token, a 1.1% increase here. Trying to find a couple. Pepe's about even 0.3% pullback, so that's not too much to worry about. Heading over to the utilities, virtuals up 4.4%, Aptos up 2.5%, Say up 5%, AVAX up 1.7%, Bonk up 1.7%, Arbitrum up 3%, Render up 4.3%. Going back to the memes, you got Fartcoin up 2.4%.
There you go.
Always good when Fartcoin's green, right? And then SPX, shocker, down 4.6%. And there's been a little bit of back and forth on crypto Twitter of some dog army people saying, hey, look, SPX, a lot of people are on it, but it doesn't have those same fundamentals as dog. I mean, look, it's not beating dog in mindshare or social, viral energy. So, I get what they're saying there.
It's just a bunch of whales, in my opinion. I think what SPX, that's all it is. It's the rich getting richer. Something like dog, it just seems more natural. It seems more retail driven.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're gonna head over to the 100 through 200 range here. All right, we're obviously gonna start off with dog up 12% with this big green bubble. I expect dog to continually look strong, but one thing I do want to say is, guys, don't freak out if there's going to be some dips. And as our friend Vincent eloquently said on his X account, some dips and some rips. Okay, so just because there's a pullback, because today's the first day of being listed on Kraken, some people are going to take profit, some people are going to buy. There's going to be a little fluctuation. Don't, in my opinion, I'm telling myself, don't freak out. But we're looking really good right now, up 12% there. Mog down 2.4%. Cheems, I'm not too sure what Cheems is, but it's up 6.5%. Popcat up 4.9%. Going to Brett up 3.9%. And then going to some utility here, you got Pith up 4.6%. Good rebound for Pith because it did take a hit recently. And then you got Core, which is a part of the Bitcoin ecosystem, down 1.7%. Radium up 2.1%. ZK up 2.9%. And looking for some other stuff here that you already talked about. Radium. Yeah, so Peanut, another meme, up 2.9%. Yeah, market's looking much better than it did when we first started our pre-show prep. Let's hope this continues.
Yeah, 100%. I want to get your opinion on something real quick that I just seen while I was going through the charts here. So this is the DXY. This is something that I've been looking at while. The US, if anyone doesn't know, the US, the Dixie is a US dollar index. It's a basket of goods that represent the dollar and the dollar strength, right? So let's take it back to 2017, right? So 2017, January 2017, we started to see crypto really start to ramp up, right? And look at the dollar. Starting at like 103, really finishing at 89, right? And then we saw some up and some strength. But let's go right to where the strength lasted. The strength really lasted until like May of 2020, right? And then we seen the dollar just get ripped apart. And then you saw the bull run. The dollar was hanging out between 89 and 94, right? Let's go to where we are today. Same thing happened, it kind of repeated. Dollar came up, it showed strength, it went sideways up until the next bull run, right? Which is technically today. And then we see the dollar at 109, the dollar coming down to about 97. Like I said previously, the bull run really started when the dollar was around 94, right? When the dollar in this area here between, let's just say 97, where we're at now, and 89. Do you, Yagobi, now that we've entered that range again, do you see potentially a bull run and the dollar maybe even going back down to about 89 and for about 6 to 8 months? And that is our bull run. This is pointing bull run, bro.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely pointing bull run. I think the people that trade Bitcoin know that that's one of the main indicators is to look at the Dixie, right? Because it correlates inversely to what Bitcoin goes up, and Dixie typically goes down, right? And so We'll see. We'll see if this is how deep it's going to get. And one other thing to pay attention to as this goes down, like how much stable comes on, continually comes on as well, right? Because there's a lot of stable coins coming on chain. What is that going to be used for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are they using that for? Obviously there seems to have a strong purpose for it, whether it's to unload into DeFi sectors or when the alt season starts or what. They're continually adding more and more on chain.
Yeah, 100%. But it's crazy though that every bull run, like 2017, technically a bull run year, right, goes right until March, which was the end of the bull run, right? Same thing here. The decline really started in I want to say March of 2020, and then went right into the end of the bull market, right? November 2021, right? And then it would go up again. Same thing happened again. Like 3-4 years of sideways, and then we're about to go back down now. We're about to enter a bull run, according to the Dixie.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've expected that for a long time, right? And it's like, when?
This is showing though, dude. This said we technically been in a downward spiral since January 2025, and now I think we're now going to see the effects of that. I mean, the dollar is 97, dude. It's gonna be at 96 by the end of the day. Like,
yeah.
That's craziness. But let's jump into the next segment here, which is roll call. So every single day we track that first comment of the day, and that first comment we say it's Lackey Lukey. Man,
Whoa.
You guys are in a battle, bro. So all week it was Lackey Lukey, Webdro, and then finishing off with my man Lackey Lukey. And guys, sometimes I don't even look to see who won until roll call starts. This is your 30th win of the year. Congratulations. You are the first person with a 3 in the number. Let me show it so you guys can know what I'm talking about. So every day I've been tracking this list since January 1st. Every Monday through Friday for our live show, I track the first person. It's been a battle between Danny Boy, Webdro, and Lackey Lukey, but there's still plenty of time. We still have another 6 months to go to see. So under over Lackey Lukey 60.
Ooh,
we're about to hit the mid year, right?
Well, are you saying that 60 is going to be the winning?
No, well, I'm just saying under over. Do you think he hit 60?
Okay, how many days do we have left? I know you just said it,
exactly the same amount that we previously had.
I feel like if I say over, then I'm picking him to win.
Well, I mean, he's been gunning for it.
So who's top 3 right now? It's got to be Lackey, Webdro, and Danny, right?
Danny. Yeah, okay. So Webdro's in second, Danny Boy's in third.
Yeah,
Danny Boy's in third.
I'm gonna say over, man. I mean, like, it's crazy because like those top 3 have, in my mind, have eclipsed each other at different points to who I think is gonna win. First it was Webdro for sure. Then I think Danny came in and then started doing some damage, and then now Lackey's been like on a roll. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a good competition.
Done, I'm gonna make one of those charts to where it's like over time.
Yeah. All 3 of them.
Yeah, racing for it. But shout out to you, Lackey Lukey, man. Appreciate you and everything you do for the show, man. Lackey Lukey, LFG, dog, finally goes home. Yes, sir. It's a Kraken. Hillbilly is here. Yo, let's LFG. Hillbilly was right there, bro. He was just 15 minutes behind Lackey Lukey, but shout out to Hillbilly, man. Even T says confirmed. Yes, sir. Dog on the Kraken is confirmed. Lackey Lukey is here. Mats is here. Shout out to Mats. Hydro Sapien called you out a few times today, but appreciate you, man. And you've been here every single day. Absolutely awesome. Webdro, man, every day. Of course, congrats, Lackey Lukey. Win the week again. Yeah, Lackey Lukey did win 3-2. He beat Webdro there. OnePlus ad is here. Malam Yuri is here. Shout out to Malam. Appreciate you and OnePlus, man. You guys are here every single day. Absolutely amazing. Hydro Sapien said a trading dog on Kraken right now. I actually sent some of my dog over to Kraken just to kind of keep on the exchange, show support to those guys. Bitcoin is Truth is here. Shout out to Bitcoin is Truth. Abstract, K99, Vader Time, Spindrift, Satoshi Nakamoto, Coach Cats with the coffee and the donuts, and the dog go to the moon. The dog's there, man. He's been saying this since June,
dude,
of last year.
Yes, like early days. That whole thing has been a saying since like what 2 months after it launched or whatever. So shout out to Cash Cast, man. I see you on crypto Twitter, man. Put in the work for the dog army as well.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And it's funny too, because like I remember this time last year, I was like, coffee, donut, dog, go to the moon. And then eventually it became coffee and the donuts and the dog go to the moon. Shout out to you, my friend. Cash says, I wish I could stay, but I have a full day. We completely understand. Thank you so much for hopping in, man. Coming in and making roll call just means everything to us. Thank you so much. Kokoi, your first time here, man. Really appreciate you coming in, showing your support. Absolutely awesome for the dog army. Patty Poo is here, the Bitcoin machine himself. Appreciate you. He said, I'm pumped. And again, thank you for that super chat earlier. It means a lot to us. Patty Boo says, I got both. Shout out to you, my friend. I'm definitely a round tripper. Oh, okay. With BRC20 round trip. It happens, bro. It happens. But you're still holding strong. Stan is here. Shout out to Stan, my guy. Toast said, whatever happened to BetBTC? They're actually, they're still there. You can go live, but they're about to have I guess we can talk about it a little bit. They're about to have a huge upgrade happening to not only the site, but the name and everything. So look out for that. It's coming. It's very shortly. So yeah, we're still a partner with them. They're coming out, and let's just say they partnered with some big teams to kind of
important people
this going and really, really push this thing. They're going to be one of the top ICP projects, in my opinion. ICP. Yeah. Adam is here. Shout out to you, my friend, with your Mr. Yen, Carl G, Patty Poo. I mean, to put Mr. Yen as your picture, though. I mean, that's
you gotta be dedicated.
Their shit, bro. That's cool. Anthony Paladino, man. I've been saying your name more and more every single day. I appreciate you. Anderson is here. Says bye, dog. Chorus Cryptolution. My guy Carl G is here. Let's see who else make roll call. Finishing up, we got Toast. He said, "Okay, cool. Shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate you. Apparently, you are an Artura dog. So shout out to you, my friend. Absolutely awesome. Glad to have every single one of you guys here every single day. It means so much. 520 people in here at roll call. Absolutely awesome.
Yep.
So I'm gonna just go into a few more things, and then at 15 we'll get into Fluid Friday, and then
we'll have Jake. And I have the updates and everything ready for that. So
all right, cool. So a few more things here. So Bhutan, I think I said that right? BHU Bhutan.
Bhutan. Yep. They're like the most happy country in the world, or something like that.
I gotta go there apparently, but they have quietly mined 12,000 Bitcoin worth $1.3 billion since 2020. Now holding nearly 40% of its GDP. Wow, in Bitcoin, making it the world's a third largest state holder, behind what U.S., China, and now Bhutan.
Oh, they're bigger than El Salvador. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think El Salvador has that much yet. They only buy one a day. These guys are mining, it seems like 6 a day at this point.
They have a clean energy approach as well to this. I forgot what it is. It might be water or hydro or something, but they're definitely doing something. But they are consistently ranked #1 for happiest citizens in the world. They're a small country, very small country. So like their government, I think they still have a monarchy type of situation where they have a king, but they want to make sure their citizens are very happy. But they might be even more happy because their country's clean, all these things. So, this is great if they're, gaining more wealth.
Yeah, 100%, dude. 40% of the GDP is in Bitcoin. I mean, think about that for a second. Bitcoin does a 10x. I mean, it can potentially have 100% of their GDP in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Wild. Bitcoin nations are going to be a thing, guys. They're going to be some of the biggest, like the countries that adopt it. Technology early became some of the biggest hitters. I mean, we're talking China, the US, right? But who's going to be that next set that adopt crypto, right? Obviously, the US is adopting it now. China, they're kind of being slow to it, but they've always kind of been there. But we'll see if some of these littler countries can surpass the big ones. I mean, there's an opportunity there, especially with Bitcoin. Jump to the next thing here. Nasdaq-listed Upexi adds 56,000 SOL to its treasury. We're seeing this more and more often. These literal like smaller companies are not going after Bitcoin. They're not going after Ethereum. They're actually adding Solana to the treasury. Announces the intent to tokenize its SEC registered shares on chain. via Superstate's opening bell platform. So this is something that really caught my eye, and the reason why I brought it to the news is because they want to tokenize their stock and have it trading on Solana and actually add LP to some of the top dexes over there.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of like how retail was in the previous cycles. Like the entities now are like, oh man, Bitcoin, like only the huge entities can really acquire a lot of it, and et cetera, et cetera. So now they're trying to like look for the lower hanging fruit, right? And that's how retail thought in 2017 and in 2020. So that's what I mean whenever I say, look, if you've been here in Web3 for a while, even if you had a 6-month start, like you can kind of speed up your education if you just got in 6 months ago. But like if you've been in multiple cycles, you're ahead of these institutions coming in because their mindset, yes, you're still trying to play the game of the 4-year alt market and stuff like that because you know how much you can benefit, but you know what's safe. And Bitcoin is safe, and Ethereum, but like these entities trying to go for the low hanging fruit, right? They're trying to get a lot of SOL to Ethereum, and it's going to trickle down, I think, too. So
yeah, the trickle down effect's already happening, in my opinion. Like this is trickle down effect, right? It's like let's go for a win. Let's go for a 20x here. Let's not go for Bitcoin's 7x, right? 5x. Let's kind of just swing for the fences here, and potentially we can become a top 10, top 30 company one day. And that seems like a lot of these platforms are doing. But you have to remember too, with stuff like Solana, you can stake it, right? Like that's the difference, is you can earn a yield yearly. I mean, Sailor says he's getting 16%. We have no idea how that's happening. It does seem like he's doing something with trading his stock against it. I don't know, but he's apparently getting 16%. But like, I'm sure the Solana stuff, dude, there's gonna be ways to actually maximize your return and just holding the asset itself. But we'll see what happens with that. But the bigger part here, though, is the tokenizing of its stock, to putting on liquidity on a DEX and having it trade like a token. And there's rumors Elon is actually considering this as well with the SpaceX stock. Instead of going public, just tokenizing the shares that are already being traded privately.
Yeah, I heard about that. That would be pretty crazy, but don't be shocked if our industry, like the innovation just like hits this like freaking super fast track. I mean, you got to remember a lot of suppressed innovation has happened, right? Suppressing of innovation the past 8 years, right? If you want to go all the way back to even before the last cycle. And so once it does open and it's regulated and says innovation green light, probably going to have a lot of companies come in and say, hey, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do this, we want to do that, right? Could it be dangerous? Yes, but but there's going to be a lot of opportunity. That's for damn sure, in my opinion. And one thing I started thinking about, you see like Sol getting acquired for like Treasury, and you know, I think there's going to be some that come in and pick up some Doge because they feel like long term, right? Someone might roll the dice a little bit, you know, if you're an entity and you're like on Bitcoin, and we saw what happened with Doge going to 100 billion. This thing ain't even back to 1 billion yet. If it gets to 1 billion, there's a possible 50, 100x for us. Let's dump. Let's get 10 million, 50 million into this guy. Who knows? Obviously, that's complete speculation. I love having fun today. It's the dog day, right, of Kraken. So who knows what can happen in the future?
Should OnChain Revolution just do it?
I mean,
so OnChain Revolution has just acquired.
Come on, investors. We're gonna invest through OnChain Revolution for you. No, just kidding.
All right, so we do know that Bitcoin is headline driven, right? So there's 2 headlines this morning that really confused the crap out of me. So I seen this one first, right? This is Scott Bassett says a trade deal with China could be finalized by Labor Day, right? And then I go further down Cointelegraph and I see this. President Trump announces he has officially signed a trade deal with China. So what is going on? Like, and I went and did more research. It says that Bassett set the finish line for pending deals Labor Day, while Trump celebrated the signing of one of the marquee frameworks today. So apparently there's a lot more into this than it's just a trade deal. There's different aspects of that trade deal that are being worked, but I don't know. Headline driven. If you're someone who trades on headlines and you're seeing these 2, you're like, what?
Yeah, I mean, but I think this is a positive though. It's a net positive because both of the headlines are positive anyways. Like one is, wrapping this up by Labor Day. The other one is, you know, the one of the big parts of these deals is coming to a close, an agreement. Both sides are in agreement. You know, that to me is a bullish thing. China and United States saying, hey, we got to get this done. Let's both kind of just agree to, it's going to benefit both countries immensely compared to where we are now. So
yeah, 100%. I agree. All right. Let's kind of get into our next segment here. So every single Friday, we like to showcase our good friends over at Fluid. Fluid is building some really awesome stuff. If you're in Alkanes and you're in Runes, you're gonna be very happy with what Fluid is doing right now. So let's just jump in and see like what they are. Fluid is a revolutionizing permissionless DeFi with UTXO chains. Right. So you go into Cardano. They've been building on Cardano for a long time. They're one of the top tokens over there. That's FLDT. They have lending, rentals, staking, earn, and dashboard, right? But like, let's take a look at the Bitcoin side of things. Well, we did a tutorial on Aquarium, so if you're interested in that, that is available on our channel. But like I said, let's jump over to the Bitcoin stuff. So they have these staking vaults, and I keep seeing people like put on the timeline the first ever staking vaults, blah blah blah. Fluid has done staking vaults since last year. Their first staking vault went live. It was like Billy Cats and Runestones, and it was really awesome. But they've done this for a long time now. They're going to be opening up a Dog 3. So eventually in the future, probably within the next couple of months, you're going to see a Dog staking vault 3. I participated in both of them so far, and I made out like a bandit on both of them. I got free dog for just locking my dog up. And so I recently claimed my dog. You go to your stake, and then I claimed it, and I was done. And then I got my reward back in the same part of it. Right now, you're seeing the Omen is the only vault that's live, but they do have a tool. It's called the Airdrop tool. And if you look here, you see runes, BRC20s. But we were just told this morning, can we announce that?
Yes, we can. So
okay.
The first update, which is going to be the airdrop tool for the Alkanes protocol, should go live within 48 hours. Okay, so we're probably looking at, I would say safe, maybe Sunday morning. Is what their expectation is. Don't freak out if it's not there, but that is what the expectation is. And then these guys work pretty well and pretty efficiently. So, but just to give you guys a heads up, that is only going to work with the oil wallet. If you have Alkanes in your Unisat wallet, do not try to utilize the airdrop tool. It only works with the oil wallet for Alkanes right now. And then also eventually what they're going to do, so the two new wallets that they're going to be supporting, number one is oil. We just talked about that, obviously, for the airdrop, but they're going to be adding Phantom as well as a supporting wallet. So, you know, really big updates in terms of adding a new meta protocol, because we all know that Alkanes has been pretty hot. Our good friends from Laser Eyes have been doing some crazy innovative stuff over there in Halfbanger and Bunzi, you know, doing smart contract stuff with Alkanes, using an off-chain indexer and all that great stuff, right? But also adding another wallet of support that onboards people that use Solana and also the Bitcoin ecosystem. So you're going to be able to use that. That's going to be more for the rune staking and stuff that they do with the previous kind of traditional stuff that they did.
Yeah, and we saw before they built the airdrop, because they built the airdrop tool for themselves, right? When they were doing the staking, they needed a way to give, you know,
more efficiently.
Like 1,100 people the dog token, or how many people that staked, right? It was a lot of people. 300 in the first one, and I think it got up to like, it was a lot the second time. But anyway, they had to figure out a way to do that efficiently without sitting there and having an intern or somebody sit there and send this much dog to each wallet for them to unlock it. So they created this tool. So if they're creating this for Alkanes, it just makes me think that potentially they're going to have staking vaults for some Alkanes. Do you think that's kind of what they're heading into, or do you think it's potentially just the airdrop?
So I think it's going to be, you're talking about the airdrop for staking with Alkanes?
Well, the reason why they started the Rune airdrop tool was because they were letting people stake the Rune or the ordinal, and potentially now, do you think those are going to be staking vaults for Alkanes?
Yeah, I do think that they're going to include that. It's going to be a separate mechanism, obviously, the way they do it. Alkanes is different the way the backend works, but yeah, I think they're going to have a separate section, another tab for that. Underneath staking is going to be runes, and then Alkanes. But with what these guys are able to do, you know, having the experience with, you know, building on Cardano and then also building on Bitcoin, you know, it's going to be awesome for how many, I guess, different meta protocols. It would be considered 2 right now, obviously,
Yeah.
but they have BRC20s up there. So for them, they don't really care who wins. They're kind of like Sats Terminal, right? They're going to service the community. The community dictates the demand. So if you want to trade Alkanes, you can, or stake Alkanes, you're going to be able to do that on Fluid. If you want to stake Runes or BRC20 2.0 soon, you're going to be able to do that as well. Same thing with Sats Terminal. If you want to trade any of those, you can do that as well there.
Yeah, and it does seem like too that potentially with the smart contracts, it's very similar to how Cardano is, and we saw that Fluid has like lending, that they might be trying to beat other competitors to the table and do some lending here. So that could be a possibility as well, or even potentially even aggregating a swap for Alkane. So I don't know. There's so much opportunity right now that Fluid it has, and the different stuff that they're building. If they choose Alkanes to be their choice of building and kind of mimic what they've already built on Cardano, I mean, Fluid could be the biggest builder in Alkanes ever.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. You know, the top 2 that would be building in the smart contract environment on Alkanes, in my opinion, would be Fluid, and then of course those guys from Laser Eyes, they're really proficient with what they built. But I'm excited to see what Fluid brings, because they've been doing this kind of stuff for a long time, like on Cardano, right? With dealing with smart contracts, just different language, obviously, and but they can figure things out like that. That's what I love about them. Right, a new meta protocol comes out, they literally look at it as like a fun challenge, and they can't stop thinking about working on it. You know, so pretty cool.
Really excited for Fluid tokens and what they're building there, 100%. Let's take a look at the Alkanes real quick, because there's a lot of opportunity in there, because we are seeing people build. But I said this last week. I said once the runes start to pop, you're going to see a lot of money that left runes to go to Alkanes and begin actually come back, and you're seeing that right now. You're seeing Alchemist down 16%. You're seeing Methane down 9%. Methane was at 29 million a few months ago, now sitting at 17 million. And then you're seeing Alchemist down about 50% since last week as well, sitting at 2 million. Now it's back down to 1. So you are seeing a lot of these tokens now actually go this money flow from Alkanes to runes, because they don't want to miss the runes pump, which is it's just funny though, because you see these numbers, 12%, 5%, 20%, and you come over here and then you just see kind of like the red. So it is funny that there's not new money here. It's just the same money kind of rotating until we get new money from places like Kraken and these tier 1 exchanges.
Yeah, and I think the whole Kraken listing was kind of like it had been like the runes community and ecosystem had been through so much struggle, you know, since the Q4, I guess start of Q4 of last year, that like it was kind of like, I don't believe it until I see it, you know, moment with Kraken's listing. And now I think some of these communities that exist within the runes are now realizing, oh, this is possible now. You know what I mean? We have to stand out. You know what I mean? We need to stand out, because if we want to be next, we got to stand out and show strength. So that also, to me, is something that to watch out for. You see Satoshi Nakamoto, a rune token that was number 6, right? Launch number 6. It's been dormant for the past, I want to say, like 2 months. It just popped back over 1 million. It's at 1.44 million now again. Wow. It's up 33.9%. Why did that happen? Probably because whoever was kind of the initiated that token, whoever, you know, kind of etched it in the beginning, they kept that supply to themselves. Remember that 20%?
Yeah.
They probably had a plan the entire time, but kind of gave up hope a little bit. Now they have that hope re-injected, right? You see Bro Bear starting to rise up now. You see Pups getting a little bit. Billy up 12%. Yeah. Gizmo up 20%, a whopping 20%. Gizmo, you know, so you know, this is the time for these communities to get into belief mode again and actually stay there this time, because that's what got Dog successful, is they stayed there. They built that army to be able to have sustain it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. It is really cool to see Satoshi Nakamoto and stuff like that pop up, stuff that, you know, we've been holding for a long time. Even, I mean, this was one of the tokens that we minted, right?
Yeah,
Day one.
Got wrecked on the mint, but yeah, it is what it is.
Definitely got wrecked on a lot of the runes there for sure. But you know, Billy, Pops, Gizmo, man, these are the top 5, right? I gotta say.
Yeah,
We're good.
yeah, I completely agree. Dog, Mim, Gizmo, Pups, Billy, Bro Bear's kind of competing to
Yeah.
try to jump in there, but then you also have Lobo that's kind of
What
has
about
his.
these four right here? Which one is 6?
So, what do you mean the one? Okay, so this is where I'm having a little hard trouble in terms of
Yeah.
community momentum and being integrated with some builder support. I've seen Bro Bear probably come after them, right? Like Bro Bear's getting like Bro Bear was on. It's on Odin. It was on the Funky Bit, which didn't last, so we can go scratch that. But it seems to have a little bit of builder support, a little bit in there. But we'll see. We'll see if that community can really step up because I think they have an opportunity. Low market cap is attractive for new people to say, okay, can this really run up? But then you have Lobo that had some support from some of these, like I think they are small, tiny, really small, like VC type of people that traded and stuff. There's an association somewhat to the Runestone with Lobo. And then you have Cypher, which is completely now it's back above 1 million. So shout out to Butoshi, right, bringing that energy back to Cypher Genesis. And then Runecoin is one of these that like just had such a bad taste in everybody's mouth. I don't know if it can come back from that. You also have Decentralized that's kind of like that as well. But in terms of other contenders, Zbit's definitely a contender because it has the Bitcoin machine community behind it. Based Internet Panda is going to be competing with Bro Bear, as well as what's the other one? Psycho Hamster, right? So those kind of, and then you got your even lower hanging fruits that could revive themselves, like Mr. Yin, but that guy needs to come back. Whoever was behind that original account, he could, if he comes back, that thing can jump past the 1 million quick.
That's a 4x.
If he comes back, but he's got to come back, and we haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, for sure. And just guys, be aware of scams. Of course, it's probably best, honestly, to make sure your badge is not. How come I'm not seeing the badge thing anymore? Okay, you got to go into Runes itself. Okay.
Yeah.
So just make sure you put the badge thing on, and make sure you guys stay with the tokens that are badged, because there is other ones like I don't know. Some of them look like scams. But again, Mr. Yen got a badge, Arcano Cat Bus, Epic. So stay with the badge, turn the badge on, and make sure you guys are buying the right one that has that badge there for sure. So, all right. I got a few more topics. But real quick though, head over, guys. Make sure you guys head over to fluidtokens.com, and they're big builders, guys. They're going to be building some really cool stuff. So be paying attention and getting early to a lot of the stuff that they're building for sure. But as we wait for Jake, so Coinbase, Brian Armstrong says we're buying more Bitcoin every week. So Coinbase, they sell Bitcoin. That's kind of their main source of income, and has been since 2013. My question for you is: would Brian Armstrong be more? Would he have more money if he would have just bought all that Bitcoin that he bought in 2013 to sell and just held on to it and did nothing else with it?
Well, from a personal level, of course, right? I don't know what his personal portfolio looks like, but I also don't know.
He has over 10,000.
Yeah, right? I don't know. I don't know what Coinbase's strategy was during those days either. I just know that it's pretty cool that that team. But then, I was like, they could have easily just fell off. You know what I mean? Just died and went away. Yeah. But they were a true believer. They're a true believer in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency because they hung around all the ups and downs of Mt. Gox and all that stuff. And so buy more Bitcoin every week so that it stays true to what they've believed in this entire time.
2013, they held a conference. It might have been at the Bitcoin conference, whatever. It was I think 900 people attended. They put a USB with 1 Bitcoin under every chair.
Oh yeah,
so they gave away 900 Bitcoin in one day in 2013. At the time, Bitcoin was valued between $10 and $20. But it's pretty nuts though that they were one of the bigger players back then, giving away 1 Bitcoin for every chair. So, but imagine, dude, just imagine the opportunities back then for sure. All right. So that is our show for you guys today. We're gonna jump to our next segment. So every Friday we like to have our good friends over at Emblem Vault on. Emblem Vault, they're building some really, really amazing stuff, guys. They are building, make sure I get the right one here. There it is. So they're building AI Agent Hustle, right? AI Agent Hustle. He is your one-stop shop for information, right? He's going to help you pretty much do everything you want to do on chain. Right now they're on Solana, but they're going to be building on Bitcoin as well, and probably many other places. But for now, they're going to be on Solana. So right now, if you do any type of trading on Solana, you are stupid to not take advantage of Agent Hustle.ai. At least go on there before you do your purchase. Just talk to him a little bit. Just get his insights. Ask him if this is a good idea, because why not, right? You have a personal advisor, not financial advice. He does not get financial advice, but a personal assistant to kind of help you research, right? And that use Agent Hustle for that exact because 100%. And then they're also building something really cool. It's going to allow you to take your ordinals off Bitcoin. You're going to be able to take your puppets, your Taproot wizards, and everything else. Allow you to take them from Bitcoin over to places like Base, Abstract, Ethereum, and any other places. Right now, you can actually take your Taproot wizard over to Ethereum and use Gandhi, which is the biggest NFT platform out there, and that'll allow you to potentially get more money than you would if you did Liquidium or places like on Bitcoin, or even allow you to have that as a second option to make sure that you're getting the best loan and the best agreement that you choose. So definitely take advantage of that if you're interested in that. So without further ado, let's bring in Jake. Jake, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
What's good, guys? Happy Friday.
Yes, happy dog listing on Kraken Day, I think, right?
Do we know how much volume has been traded so far?
It's a good question.
I'm not sure. I gotta look on my app, but it was pretty cool to go into my Kraken app and see that as an option to, buy or deposit directly in there. I know a lot of people in the Runes ecosystem, and you guys are heavily involved with the Bitcoin ecosystem as well. Have been waiting for a long time, but what's your initial reaction of the day finally getting here? Is it did you just expect it, or is this kind of like a monumental moment, you feel like, or what?
I was on the dog spaces yesterday with Vincent and a few people. It comes to no surprise. Always knew this was going to happen. Didn't think Kraken was going to be one that just goes kind of full runes tired on everything, but positive sign. They're going public. They need new users, right? They have a lot of incentive to try to compete with Coinbase and juice the numbers and metrics as much as possible. The two things I was interested to see happen was trading volume within the first 24 hours and new accounts created, and that's not a number we'll probably ever see unless they publicize it, but the dog community is heavily international, large base of South Americans from Brazil to Peru. I think there's like Venezuela, etc. And Kraken is a US-based exchange. So maybe they just saw this opportunity to have new users come to the platform and create accounts and kind of expand this international base. At least that's my perspective from the business side of things. And I think at some point, you'll see all the other exchanges kind of come through. And we'll see how fast and rapid they are to list other runes like Magic Internet Money and so on and so forth.
Do you think that Kraken saw this as an opportunity because the dog space has been so hot, and you go to Cookie DAO, whatever it is, and you can kind of see dog and always in the top 4. And Kraken, they're a tier 1 exchange. They have Crack dropping, which is their Cash App competitor, and then they have potential IPO that's dropping. That potential they're saying July and August. Do you think that they went after dog for that reason, or do you think that this has always kind of been part of the plan?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pure business play. Obviously, there's a few of their team members who were dog community members prior and basically made the pitch up the chain to the CEO who then got involved. But Kraken, at the end of the day, is an American company competing against Coinbase and Gemini. So Kraken, I think, has a further step on Gemini, but way far behind in the Coinbase realm. And Coinbase is not going after this Bitcoin ecosystem. And so it's an opportunity for them to really go all in. And that's what it seems like they're doing. And maybe it gives them exposure to their L2 ink that nobody really uses, and then adds new metrics, which they need for the IPO. So from the business standpoint, that's what I would be doing. And they identified it very positively, and they were correct in this as well. And
Yeah.
we'll see in the next week or so what the numbers actually are.
Yeah, I think that's a good breakdown there. And Emblem kind of laid y'all's bets a bit on the Runes meta protocol for fungible tokens and Bitcoin with the, you know, the vault keys coming out as well. So this kind of benefits the overall thesis of what you guys were thinking as well. But if you look here and you go to year to date, so for the past 6 months or so, Dog is the most, you know, mind shared gained post, I guess you could say, out of all the meme coins in all of crypto. Or you look at, you see Bitcoin, XRP, Tron, then it comes Dog, and then the next one is Pepe at, you know, 930,000 posts, but 1.45 million. And you hear people like I think his name is Kelly. Is it Kellum? Kellum. Yeah, he says that maybe it wasn't him, it was Dan, I think, that said that Dog has an opportunity to flip Doge. Now that's obviously like a big, you know, task, but could you even see that happening? Could you see a Rune like Dog flipping Dogecoin?
I think flipping Doges is going to be very difficult, but I think it has the possibility to easily flip everything else. I mean, it's possible for Doge. If there's going to be a meme coin that's flipping it, it's definitely going to be the meme coin on Bitcoin, to be honest. And I think Dog has a chance, but in the reality of things, like once Doge is listed on or is integrated into X for payments and such, and once it's integrated into SpaceX for the currency on Mars and stuff, that's going to be really difficult to use because Doge is actually a form of money. It has inflationary aspects to it. And so I think it will be viewed as money. And so when you're competing with actual money, that is very difficult to flip versus kind of the store value. But outside of anything else, I think it really has a massive opportunity. Like it can be like $100 billion asset years from now, just because of the distribution of it. And all you need is a few more, you know, Runes integrations. And once the Bitcoin ecosystem continues to develop quite quickly, then it'll just continue to grow. It's a slow grind, as you guys know this with the Bitcoin ecosystem. And I think that's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I agree with you. Like maybe one day it's going to be tough to dethrone Doge this cycle or maybe next cycle, but we'll know. We never know, right? Kraken comes on board. Let's see if there's another centralized exchange that notices, you know, this social mindshare that it's really just dominated this year with, right? But I want to kind of pivot back to one of your most powerful products, and that's Agent Hustle. I mean, it's just like there's no denying that. You see the user accounts that are being opened, and there's a big event that you guys are about to really, you know, run with here, and you actually created a product through this, and it's you know, migrating from Tensor to the Hustle token for Agent Hustle, right? And migrate.fun is what you guys are going to, you know, kind of use for that. Could you talk a little bit about that, and what that's going to be for, I guess, other builders and the process of this transition?
So we identified an issue with our own personal problem with Tensorium. Initially, when you launch a token on Pump Fund, you get a lot of short-term value. You get attention, you get new users, you get virality. But if you're a long-term focused project, you realize quickly after a few months that there is some insane downsides to being a Pump Fund token. Number one is that you have no access to the LP. The LP is burned, so you don't get to claim any rewards. You can't remove any of the funds from the LP. The second is that there's limited token treasuries that are held by all these companies, including us. We have, you know, 5% of the token supply. And that was because we bought the token, you know, after it launched. Although from our perspective, it was an experiment. As I've talked with other builders, it's generally the same case. You launch something, you think there's going to be more time, you're kind of still feeling it out, and then it just runs. And at that point, then it's impossible to, you know, buy the token back once it's bonded and taken over and such. There's also snipers that are associated with it, so it fucks up the distribution. And there's permanent metadata, so there's no opportunity to rebrand your token, which is one of the major issues for us. When it was initially launched, the ticker was Tensor, and so I don't. Our founder who had launched the token, I don't think realized there was another project with the same ticker, and that has caused a lot of confusion, especially since we rebranded it to Agent Hustle from Neural ETH and Hustle Flow State, I think was like the initial name. And so it's gone through quite a few different versions of it, and there's no way to change the image. So, you know, having all of these kind of long-term issues, we realized and knew that we had to migrate the token. The issue is that, you know, when you migrate the token, all the LP is locked, right? So right now the Tensorium LP has 250,000 in it, maybe a little bit higher, right? So half Tensorium and half Sol. So if you go to migrate, you literally have to create a brand new pool, right? So you could have to basically bootstrap that. So we created two different options for it. And the two different options through migrate.fun are this. There's one where you can actually bring your own LP, which is what we're going to be doing with Hustle. And then we also created this automated version that deploys the LP after the migration is done. And I'll get into that second. I want to focus on the Hustle migration because this one's more important. So with the Hustle migration, the users are going to go to migrate.fun on July 1st. There's going to be a time window, and it's not going to be a very lengthy time window, to be completely honest. So we need people to migrate as soon as possible. That all the details will be there July 1st. The users are going to come to the platform. They're going to click literally one button that says migrate tokens, and you're done. Literally, it's a very simple experience. And once they migrate, we are going to have an LP pool set up already. So once you migrate your Tensorium tokens to Hustle, you get the Hustle tokens 1-to-1. It's a one-way bridge, and you can trade them immediately. So where is kind of this new innovation, right? This is kind of like a claim redemption or a redeem claim function is not new per se. So we actually found a way to recover all of the Solana out of the pump fund pools. This is also an issue with Believe app that we've had people reach out. There's also a few other launch platforms that I've found, niche ones on Solana, that all have the same issue, right? So what we're doing here is, let's say 50% of the Tensorium is migrated. Once the migration window closes, we basically programmatically sell all of that Tensorium down, essentially nuking the chart to zero. And in return, we get all of that Solana. And so now you've basically recovered all of the Solana out of the pool, which we can use to refund ourselves for setting up the LP. So one thing here, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's just insane to me that you guys, you kind of jumped in the pump fund game, right? And then have this token, realize that there's a problem, created the solution, and are now created a company, another source of revenue for you guys from solving that problem. It's pretty amazing.
One thing I've learned in this space is a lot of the winning products are generally discovered through obstacles that a team has to go through. And I would just, pose this question to any builders in the space. When you're building some sort of custom solution, you should think and wonder if anybody else has this problem. And if the answer is yes, you should immediately think of how many people may have this issue, how large is the problem, and what is the potential market size. And if your answers to this is a lot for all of these answers, then you should probably productize it immediately. There's actually a lot of very successful companies that were born from internal creations. Twitter was one of those. Slack was also one of those. And we see these kind of functions time and time again because it's like a small use case that a lot of other people have. Obviously, this is very on brand for Emblem, who's gone through 5 to 6 different migrations ourselves throughout Emblem's 11-year history between NFTs and fungible tokens. So we have a lot of experience, and we know that not every migration is the same. So once we decided to productize it, the next thing was, okay, we're a team where we can actually precede the LP because we've been around for a while. We have a little bit of experience, but for the majority of people, this is not the case, right? If I'm somebody who's, 18, 19 years old and I go launch on Believe app or Pump Fund, I'm generally new to the space. I'm not sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars that I can go ahead and set up a new LP. So we created this fully end-to-end automated experience, which is what a lot of the people who have reached out are going to be using. I assume probably 9 in 10 people will be using this experience. And so what happens here is, let's say I launched a project on Solana and it's called, OnChain Revolution. I'm just going to use your guys' name. OnChain Rev has, is kind of fading. The token's been taken over, and I want to move from Ordinal Revolution to OnChain Revolution, right? We're migrating. So the Ordinal Revolution ticker is dying. You want this new shiny thing because there's an opportunity. So a creator is going to go to the platform. They're going to hit create and create new token or create new project. They're going to input their old token information. And with that, our system picks it up, and then they're going to hit next. And then the next thing they do is they create the new token. And they're going to put in the information. I'll put in OnChain Revolution, write the ticker, OnChain Rev, or whatever you want, and the image. After that, they're done. That's literally all you have to do as a creator. And then it's on the creator's side or the creator's MO to basically notify the community that a migration is taking place. And if you scroll down a little bit, there's actually documentation that you can go through as well.
So I added the Notion documentation. If you're a part of the Tensor to Hustle migration, you can use that link, and that link is going to show you step by step on what you're supposed to do. But were you talking about a different documentation than that?
No, it's just the Notion one down there. Yeah, just
okay.
So if you're a creator or a user, there's both angles. It's really simple though. And so from then the user standpoint, you're just going to go to the website and migrate. And so what happens then from the creator side is users are going, let's say the creator sets a 7-day migration window. So users are going to have 7 days to basically deposit their Ordinal Revolution tokens into this vault. After the 7 days expire, the new token or all of the assets that have been committed to migration are going to be sold. So let's say the liquidity pool has $1 million in it per se. It's probably not that high, but we'll just use it for easy math. That means there's $500,000 in SOL. There's $500,000 in old token, right? In the Ordinal Revolution token. We're going to take all of the Ordinal Revolution tokens. It could be 10% of the supply, could be 50% of the supply, could be 80% of the supply. We take that and we sell it in a programmatic way to recover as much SOL as possible out of the liquidity pool that's locked, right? So then once all of that's sold down, inside of our system, you now have 500,000. I'm just going to say you had 100% sold for easy math. We now have $500,000 in SOL, and we have the OnChain Revolution token. We then automatically pair the SOL to the equal amount of OnChain Revolution token, which then automatically creates an LP on Solana using Radium. And then the tokens, once the Radium LP is deployed, the tokens are distributed to the users, and you can immediately start trading at the market cap that the creator had preset before the migration started. And from there, from the creator side, the LP is going to be locked for 90 days, could be subject to change. After 90 days, the creator can claim the rewards in the LP, and they can actually take ownership over the LP as well. There's obviously going to be some trust issues, some trust there, could be issues. So it's up to people migrating to understand that they need to have some trust with the creator who's setting up the migration. For us, it's the belief that, it's taking back control, what's rightfully theirs. And if it's a long-term builder, they should have complete control over the LP. This was the case before meme coins. and it should be the case after meme coins. So the user will have access to 100% of the LP. We don't actually take any fees out of the LP. We take a fee off of the sell-off from the old token into the recovered Solana, or the recovery out of Solana. And the user will have access to update the metadata and any unclaimed token from the new token. So let's say you only get 50% of the old tokens migrating. The project creator then receives 50% into their treasury of the new token. So for creators, you get access to your rewards, you get control over the LP, and you get distribution of all the unclaimed tokens. So now you have a token treasury. So this basically sets up the company long term for, building a product, which is the kind of main issues that many builders are having. One final thing, we are working with Radium directly. I won't say too much more for that, but there are posts from Radium team members who love the idea and looking to explore other possibilities there. And then one final kind of note is we also are exploring tokenomics for the Hustle token integration into the Migrate.fund platform, as well as taking some of the platform fees and buying back Hustle. So you could create, I'm going to throw some buzzwords out there, but you can create a flywheel. And I think we've been able to design one between the new Hustle token, the Agent Hustle platform, and the Migrate.fund platform.
Yeah. So for the builders on Solana that are listening to this that launched on Pump Fund or Believe or Bonk Launchpad, this will allow you to kind of free yourself up again, right? And especially if you have a utility project, right? I think these launchpads really showed the industry that if you are building something with utility and have a future with a business plan, that you need to have some sort of control over your tokenomics, right? And this will free you guys up to allow you to kind of restate that or reposition yourself in that aspect. Because I'll tell you what, when you don't have it, it's really hard to control what other people, like gigantic holders that bought huge supplies in the very beginning and keep playing with their bots and keeping the market cap in a certain area and all this stuff. But also to be able to maybe have investors in the future and stuff like that to bring more foundation to your project, right? So check out migration.fund because and plus the flywheel aspect. So I'd love to learn more about that once you guys have that solidified.
Yeah, we want to make sure that the Hustle holders are participating or receiving some sort of incentive for everybody who goes through the platform is the goal. There's still a few things to kind of work out, but from the demand side of things, between parties that Radium has talked with, between people who have reached out to us, and kind of just like through the grapevines, there could be potentially 40 different projects at least kind of lined up, which is obviously those are kind of like verbal conversations now. Obviously we have to convert them, but I think if with a successful marketing campaign for the first cohort, I think this could really go viral. The goal would be, Hustle has its migration, Hustle will be the only token that's migrating throughout its timeline. And then once the Hustle migration is done, we'll take probably a 1 to 2 week pause. And then through that, we'll be able to kind of work through all the conversations on the back end for teams that are actually committed to doing this. And then we'll probably launch a cohort of the teams that are actually going to go through it. So it could be 5, could be 50, could be 500. Who really knows? To really kind of get that exposure going. It's really, really exciting. And also we've actually had some teams show interest from the base and ETH side of things as well.
Virtuals and other projects like that.
Virtuals is one of them. Yeah. And so we can do it cross-chain, which is kind of fun as well. From what the dev said, it's actually not that difficult to do. And so this could really be something big. And kind of like one of the questions I presented earlier is, if you're building an internal tool and you question if you should productize it and you think about what's the potential market size. So there's 3 million trapped Solana across all these launch pads, which is about $500 million, $600 million. You think about the then extension to launch pads across all of the different chains, you could say it's probably $1 billion or more. So that was one of the reasons why we decided to do this, is there is a real demand for migrations. We've gone through it many times. We see teams really flustered with it. And to be honest, I think Emblem has had quite good and solid success through migrations. But a lot of the other migrations I've seen teams go through generally have a hard time executing it because there's a ton of different variables. So if you have a vetted migration platform, I think it gives a little bit certainty and maybe a little bit more relief to the users who are migrating that this is something that's, has validation. It has true builders. It has a community around it. And they just feel safe moving their tokens around, because I know the majority of people who do go through migrations are generally quite afraid of losing their assets, because it is a little bit of a scary process of turning one thing in and getting something else on the other side. So we hope to bring a lot of clarity to this kind of migration market.
And this can kind of be seen too as like a TGE for hustle token, right? So let's just say the TNSR token was just like the test token, which kind of was.
It was,
and
yeah.
now you're able to take that test token and actually cash in for the actual token that the team's going to control, and make sure that the bots and stuff like that were involved in the beginning are no longer existing, which is huge for you guys. So I see it more like a TGE than I do like a migration, which is awesome. And on top of that, so you guys said that you're going to be adding liquidity to hustle before the migration.
Yes.
So that opens up an arbitrage that I see potentially, right? Because the hustle and TNSR,
it's a one-way bridge though.
Yeah, one-way bridge, but at the same time for price though. So let's just say, like on this side, like I see, let's just say hustle token's $2, or let's just say it's like a couple cents higher than that, right? There's an opportunity for you to come in, buy it from the TNSR DEX, and then just migrate it over and then sell it over on that side. So potentially that's going to create a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. And then the people, if you have it, the hustle token already, they kind of sell down, buy more tensor, bridge it over, or migrating over, and then keep playing that game. So that's an opportunity there for a few days as well.
Yeah, this is the one arbitrage opportunity, right? If Tensorium is low and hustle is high, because people are buying the new hustle token, you can just buy Tensorium and sell it on the hustle side. Outside of that, I don't think there is any other arbitrage opportunities, but it is important for people to pay attention to. We're curious to see how many people actually will migrate. It's a tough process. There's a lot of admin work on the back end. It's like we have to talk with CoinGecko. We have to go talk to Cookie Fund. We have to talk to all these like centralized Solana applications that have, listed Tensorium like Slingshot to let their users know. Or you have to set up the deck screener. And obviously people are going to complain because the new users that come in, they're going to see hustles, has a price increase, and they're going to come buy it. Then they're going to be like, where's the deck screener, and blah, blah, blah. So there is a little bit of a kind of gray period, maybe of like a week or so, where, the new users who buy it may not have any idea about the past, because it's just going to look like a fresh chart, which is generally positive, right? Because people like new tokens. And so if they see the new token, then they go to the new Agent Hustle site, which I'll show you guys here in a little bit. Then they're going to be like, whoa, what the fuck is this? This thing is crazy, right? What is this new project? But for the majority of people, right, that have been hanging in for 8 months or so, they kind of know the history. So it's really exciting, really refreshing. And I think this could be a really good project long-term, pending nothing kind of explodes on the back end.
Yeah, excited for it. I think it's definitely needed, but definitely excited for when people start to migrate, right? Because it's the only option that you have at this point is going to be migrate.fun, and it's a great option, I think. But let's get back to Agent Hustle, because Agent Hustle is something special, I believe, and you guys have upgraded to its latest version, or about to mainnet. Could you talk a little bit about what users can expect with this version 3?
Yeah, so I just say V3. We're completely changing the UX to update it to be something a little bit more modernized. We took in a lot of recommendations from the community, as well as some individuals and foundations on the Solana side of things who had some thoughts about it. We obviously have the conditional trading system and trading engine that's being revamped right now. Hopefully this will be kind of the next stage. Optimize the mobile experience, and we're going to be adding new data streams, a subscription service, referrals are going to be coming in, as well as obviously tokenomic structures that will be applied to Hustle, the token Hustle. So there is a lot coming. July is probably going to be the biggest month ever for Hustle. And yeah, if you guys would like to share the screen, I could kind of, or if you want to add this, I could kind of give people a first demo of the
Let's do it.
new front end, right? So one recommendation a lot of people had was they wanted to get this kind of more modernized feel with the mini apps on the left-hand side and kind of just the open ChatGPT terminal. So we kind of went this route.
I like it.
There's a few here. Let me zoom in a little bit, so it'll be a little scrunched. But you could come in and click some kind of starter prompts to come in, right? We've kind of optimized and changed the UX a little bit up here as well, which looks pretty good. And then you have the traditional feel. So you could come in here, and we still have the mini apps. So you could still come in and you can look at your balances, right? You could come in and look at the launch pads. That hasn't changed at all. Come in and look at the swaps. Again, this is zoomed in, so that's why it's kind of scrunched. And then you have your conditional system. This is what we are focusing on. So this is kind of all of the different limit orders, different types of things that you can do. And I'll give kind of a little bit of a test here. But we added some pre-generated prompts to kind of showcase people what you can do. And you can use these in isolation as a buy limit, sell limit, or you could kind of combine them like we showed down here, where you can do a buy market plus a stop loss plus a take profit, and the orders will show up. So I'll show kind of an example here where I'll say like, this is just a simple take or stop loss and take profit. So I'll say buy bonk, with 0.1 SOL and set a stop loss. Set a stop loss at 10% below entry and take profit at 20% above entry. So let's hope this works this time. They're still going. The devs had to do a completely change or a big overhaul to the back end. This is actually in our dev environment, so this is not live. This is not live, but we changed the UX down here a little bit, where you can see this is updated. It says setting up a conditional trade, right? Getting token prices, so you could kind of see the process that the agent's going through, right? Calculating price. We felt this was a little bit more intuitive to the UX, so the user kind of sees what's going on over the hood. And then it looks like he's it says canceling conditional trade. That's kind of interesting. Oh, he's setting up a new one with a proper stop loss. It looks like he did the math that was wrong. So you could see here, right? That didn't take that long. Took about 30 seconds. And you could
Is that execution?
This is, yeah, the conditional is live now. So you come over here.
Wow, dude, that's
insane.
Okay, so it's set up as a limit order. So he must have went through.
No, so he bought bonk.
Okay, gotcha.
He bought bonk, and then he set the stop loss here, right, based off the percentages. So the stop loss is set at here. The take profit is set here. It shows the entry price up here. And then it just shows the pending order, right, and the timestamp. So it shows his entry, right? There's the transaction. So I have bonk right here in my wallet to show that he did buy bonk immediately.
Okay.
And then now there's a stop loss and a take profit for this order.
Was that the pending part, the stop loss and the take profit, or was that?
Yeah, that's the pending order. Yeah. So then the bonk will be sold for Solana at one of these prices, right?
Oh my god, dude, this is game changing. I've been waiting for this for 84 years. No, I'm just kidding.
And you could you could do kind of even more wild things where you could say, buy Trump when the price drops by 15%, and then set a take profit at 100% from entry, right? So now you're setting a conditional, basically a buy limit plus a take profit at the same time. So this is kind of what we call, it's what we call away from keyboard trading, or AFK. And so you could kind of condense this down here. You could kind of just see everything that he's going through the process. And the cool part here is because this is our own engine that we created, you can take this and apply it to ordinals. You can apply it to runes. You can apply it to NFTs. You can apply it to literally anything, because it's a chain agnostic conditional engine. And once we initially launched this with just price, so like the conditional trade is set up already. So if we go over here to the open trades, you can see that Trump is now here. And see, so now as a conditional, so it shows you the buy limit down here, right? So it's waiting for it to hit this price. So once Trump hits $7.65, they will buy the Trump, and then the take profit will be at $15 because we said to put it at 100% gain.
Gotcha. And this is only going to be whitelisted for like a membership group only and not released for a couple of years, right? I just feel like I want this to be like our secret. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
It's great. And so we still do have the same things. So we have the alpha app, which is still there. The DCA and limit orders will be deprecated. We just kept this here because anybody might have existing orders. And then we have the trenches and the uploader that's still there. And yeah, so all of this will go live once the conditional engine is completely done. The devs were doing a complete overhaul. Oops. What I just did.
So this completely takes out the emotion of trading, right? This is basically bots 2.0, because right now people can go set up a bot and do this, but now with the agent hustle, you can potentially just type it all in and it's easy, and anyone can do it now too, because you're kind of just talking to an agent and having him kind of walk you through the steps of doing it, the process as well.
Sorry, Dev, as I was doing that, he said, is anyone doing conditional orders right now? Because he's working on it right now. So I told him that I was done. Yeah, so that's the great part. This is more of my trading strategy. I can't sit there all day and monitor positions. You could actually, so then you could combine the conditional order, and so next time, once it's live, you could actually say, and I've tested this, or you can say, look for a token that has 1,000 holders. The chart has had its first pump and has over $1 million market cap. Buy that token now and set a take profit. So you can actually have it find token, buy it, and set a take profit all in a single prompt, which is pretty crazy. But the conditional system, will be behind. You'll have to have a subscription. So once we launch the subscriptions, which are getting close to being done, there will be probably a monthly fee in Solana. There will be something for Hustle that'll come a little bit later as well for Hustle holders. With that, we're also going to be launching referrals, because that's actually been a pretty big request as well. So we'll be sharing some of the platform fees with people who refer out. So there's a possibility to generate some revenue. And we're going to be working on upgrading Hustle from his current model to kind of a multi-agent system on the back end. But the users will not have to do anything, because this one thing that we want to be very clear on is to not cause any confusion. As we've seen with other platforms, once you start expanding into multiple different types of agents, people tend to get pretty confused on what to do. So if we ever do have to go that route, there may be like be hustle trader and hustle analyst, and you can kind of go between those two, but there won't be any other agent on the platform for a user to have to kind of decide to go between. So we're going to upgrade the system. There's like one limitation in the current model that's used, where he can only do 7 tool calls in a single transaction. So if you're ever using hustle and he like times out, it's because you've actually hit the limit for what the capabilities of tool calls are for the model. So now that there's been an upgrade in some of the models since we initially launched, right? These are things like ChatGPT and Grok and Claude and stuff. Like those capabilities have actually kind of drastically improved, which will let you to do some things. And then when it comes to the subscriptions, it'll be very similar to like a credit system where it's like, you have this many messages and you have this many tool calls to use kind of per day. And that'll be kind of like the limitation there. And we'll continue to expand it. We just need to see what the actual use case is. And I'm actually kind of excited. There's been kind of some concern where it's like, if you guys open up a subscription, right, you're going to lose some people. There will be a free model, but right, you will lose people. And for us, this is probably the most powerful agent in crypto. I would rather communicate with our power users to understand what their needs are, right? Rather than people who are kind of just spamming it to talk and go back and forth and stuff. Although we do need everybody, it's important for us to really dig in deep and to try to understand what this thing is being used for. And so obviously we have analysts, we obviously have traders, but this is going to continue to expand, especially as we add more tooling. So once the conditional system is done, we're adding Bitcoin tooling, data streams for ordinals, runes, BRC20. We have like 29 Bitcoin tools that are just waiting to be integrated. And then we're going to add exchange data and on-chain data and a few variety of things so that you can actually spread this thing really in depth across all of these different models for those people who just use hustle as an analyst and not for a trader. And that's where the subscriptions come in place.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, it's gonna be crazy. I guess my question is, like, are you guys gonna be? I know it's probably gonna be a little while, but maybe potentially having like X APIs in there to where if I say, hey, if this person tweets out a ticker, buy that ticker.
We would like to. The X API is quite expensive, $50K a month. There is a 5K tier as well. Once there is sustainable volume on the platform in terms of revenue, or if the token goes up, then we're going to go in pretty hard into these data streams. We're actually looking into tooling to where a user can bring their own tooling. So if you pay for an API, if you pay for the Barstool Sports API, or if you pay for XYZ API, or if you have a company that's APIs, you could just come in and plug it into the system and just use that on top of everything that we have, which I do think will also alleviate some of the issues, because if you're paying for it, you obviously want to use it in as many ways possible.
Yeah, for sure. We do have a question here. Stan says, how's the AI able to trade for us? Does it have a private key access? Do you want to go over that?
Yeah, so you co-manage it, right? So he has the authority to make transactions on your behalf. He does not have access to the private key itself. This is actually a feature of Emblem Vault, which is the parent company. So we built Agent Hustle on top of Emblem. So it's actually using vaulting technology. So inside of this single vault is a deposit address for every single crypto wallet. That's what uses Emblem Vault technology. And then within those, there's permissions that are granted to the agent to use these different tools that are integrated into the vault. And so the private key is actually non-custodial. We use LIP protocol on the back end to store some of the key shards. So he can't actually take the API key and go plug it into somewhere and rug your entire portfolio, because he only has access to one key shard out of the, I think it's like 6 or 7 or whatever LIP protocol uses. I highly recommend to use that. Look into them. They're TEE, decentralized key signature system. And yeah, so that's how he trades on your behalf. There's a safety feature we have enabled that you can turn off called safe mode, where you have to give him confirmation to trade. So he'll give you like a presentation of this trade. So for example, with the conditional trading system, you go put all that in, and then it'll be like, would you like me to confirm this trade? And you can say yes. But most people end up turning that off. I had that off for that example. And those are kind of the safety features there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited for. I know you've hinted before. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to get the audience too excited. But like a different way of trading other than spot. That's how I'll hint. But super excited for the conditional part because I'm one of those people. Sometimes I get emotional with trading just because the price can really jerk you around, right? This takes that out. But Stan also had a couple other questions because Emblem is just like, I feel like a Swiss Army knife. You guys are building solutions for other things. And Stan says he's brought up this Solana Seeker a couple times, but he says, has Emblem discovered a use case scenario for their project on the Solana Seeker, which is their phone, I guess?
No, we haven't looked into mobile at all. To be honest, Agent Hustle was, yeah. Can Emblem migrate games? I would have to look into that. I mean, so what migrate.fun is just it's a token migration platform. We're not actually taking like any of the back end infrastructure and code base and migrating it. That's generally on the user. I mean, that's kind of an interesting use case. If you're thinking of like Emblem, of like storing data inside of a vault, encrypting it, and then moving it and selling it, for ETH, that is actually possible. There have been people who have done those type of things. That is actually more of a custom kind of solution. In Emblem V1, you could actually like store chats and HTMLs and different types of things and encrypt it with a key or a password and kind of trade that stuff. But that stuff is not live currently on the Emblem 2.0 system. But the phone, I will actually have to look in with Seeker. In November, when we deployed Sensorium, that was kind of our first foray into the Solana ecosystem. And I'd been waiting for a while to kind of dive in because Emblem's been building on Bitcoin since 2016 and on ETH since 2020. So we know those ecosystems pretty well. But for Solana, it is definitely more immature than Ethereum. The data is quite spread and quite diverse. There's no all-in-one API RPC node service that exists, unfortunately, for everything that we need. So we have to go to these different companies and talk to them about, what we need, what they have. And it is honestly quite a big pain in the ass. So I haven't even got to explore half of the ecosystem, but I have gotten a gigantic education in how the infrastructure works.
Yeah. Well, to Stan's question about like potentially taking code base, that'd be crazy if Hustle could do that one day. Hey, take my EVM contract, smart contract, and convert it to or migrate it to Solana. I mean, that's
That would
definitely
be
something I could
insane.
see it doing some pretty cool stuff.
I think Wayfinder is doing something like that. They have
they?
like a smart contract agent. I don't know if they have the migration, but it is like the agent helps you deploy smart contracts. For us, we're trying to build for everyone. So we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. So you can log in with Google, you can log in with X. So you can log in with X on desktop, and then you can open it up on mobile and log in with the same X account. And it's the same one. It's the same kind of experience. And you can do that and log in within literally 10 seconds. I think that the account creation process is literally like 10 seconds. And then you're in there talking to them. And on the free account, you can sit there and continue to have conversations until your limits expire once that system is live. And we would like to integrate different things, Apple Pay and stuff, to where you can deposit straight from a bank account into Agent Hustle, because that is the goal, is to onboard, the next billion people who are going to come to crypto, because our thesis is that there are 1 billion AI subscriptions across all of the different models across the world, whereas crypto has somewhere between 20 to 50 million active monthly users versus AI's 1 billion. And most of those crypto users are just exchange traders. So you have maybe a few million people on chain per day. So the net new person that's going to be entering crypto is going to be much more familiar with the AI experience, the LM experience, than the web browser experience. So you want to prepare for those users versus the crypto natives that are here today. So right now we're trying to take the traditional experience to the crypto people, or we're taking the new experience to the crypto natives with this kind of intersection of the traditional experience of like swapping and stuff, which we have in the app, and combine it with the newer experience. But the longer term goal is that you're definitely catering to the users that have never used crypto. And so that's kind of what the intention is.
Yeah, and think about what what normies want to do, right? When they get into crypto, they want to send money to their friends, kind of like Kraken has just built a Crack app, but you can actually do that with Agent Hustle, because I can save Yagobi's address and, hey, remember this is Yagobi, so it saves my memory. And anytime, like, let's say we go to dinner and I own $50, I can say, hey, send $50 USDC to Yagobi, all through Agent Hustle. So you basically already have that Crack already kind of built in the hustle.
Yep. Yeah. That's the goal. There's a lot of infrastructure that has to be built, but I'm convinced, our whole team is convinced, that AI, the intersection of AI and crypto, is going to just completely change the UX experience forever. The majority of people are going to be using natural language to communicate with the blockchain, just as they're using natural language to interact with the websites, right? And the rest of the internet. Like, I don't see why that wouldn't be reflected into the crypto ecosystem. And people are slowly starting to come on. And so the token obviously is what attracts people to come and look. It's very apparent that anytime the Tensorium price goes up, more people come into the ecosystem and they're like, oh, what the hell is this? And then they generally stick around, have a lot of questions. So, number go up is the most effective form of marketing.
It really is.
and that's why you have to create these so-called flywheels or experiences, because we see it anytime Tensorium price goes down. The user activity depreciates. Anytime Tensorium goes up, the users come right back to the platform, generally in kind of a new form. So in the last 60 days, we've had 5,000 unique visitors to the website. And mobile. This isn't also reflected in like some of the tools that or some of the services that are being used through the Agent Hustle MCP and SDK that other builders are using to interact with on Discord and Telegram and such. And there's been over 10,000 accounts created since March as well. So just going to continue to grow and just showcase why Agent Hustle is the most performant agent in all of crypto.
Love it, man. Yeah. Absolutely awesome.
And it brings one thing I want to say to the last thing I want to say on this is that it brings a little bit more fair of an approach for new normies to come in, because the people that were using bots before, a lot of the people in Solana built their own custom bots, either themselves because they have the skill set, or they bought it from someone that knows, they're in that inner circle. What Hustle does is, as soon as you come in, you can use Hustle to do these things for you. So I love that aspect to it. And then also want to give Adam McBride a big shout out, as he reposted the stream as well. Shout out to Adam McBride. And then I guess Stan comes in and says the current administration bullish on AI. Is Emblem considering joining the Stargate project in Texas with he's like, wow. Man, this guy believes in you guys, I swear.
I love, dude. Stan needs to reach out to me. We need more bullish posters, dude. Shoot me a DM, literally Gallen _ on Twitter. And if you like the product, dude, come join the community. We need definitely more promoters, more enthusiasts in the ecosystem. Obviously that comes when the price goes up, but if we could join, if I had the capital to join the Stargate program, Agent Hustle would probably be on everybody's phone right now.
Real quick too, you guys just started an Agent Hustle community, right on X here. Can you talk about that? Like, what is this?
Yeah, this is actually the first time I've used it. Some community members asked if we could create it. I didn't even realize like what it was, because I'd seen the tab, but essentially just a way for the community to get further notifications to stay up to date. This is kind of the pain in the ass part of community relations, is that so many people use so many different platforms. Like, there's people in the Hustle community that only use Telegram and don't use Twitter. There's people who only use Twitter, don't use Telegram. It's the same thing with the Emblem community, where it's like it has a lot of people who are in crypto and from like 2014 and stuff, where they don't use Discord, they don't use Twitter, they just use the product. So it's like, how do you reach to them? They only watch the videos on YouTube. So it's just another way for people to stay informed. I also kind of like how you could pin it literally directly to the bio. I thought that was kind of a cool feature. And if you scroll down, anytime you post in there, you'll see that one more post. You'll see that it actually shows up on your timeline. See where it says Agent Hustle at the top? I thought that was actually pretty cool as well. So I'm doing some kind of experimenting between posting in the Hustle group for, posting in the Hustle group for relevant things, while also having it shown on the timeline to kind of see what's going on. Yeah, if you scroll down, you can see that's one of the Radium guys. Go down one more. That's one of the Radium team members, bull posting about migrate.fun. Cool guy. They love the idea, love the product, and yeah, we're gonna try to explore a lot of other components. It's great to have literally the largest AMM on Solana, believing in what you guys in what we're doing. So we're gonna try to make that as most effective as possible for everyone.
And the biggest pump fun competitor, right? Trying to do a migration over to Radium. I mean, it's huge, man.
So here's
huge.
one idea. So, we built migrate.fun for, builders who migrate, but you can actually have a lot of fun with this and vampire attack liquidity pools. What I mean by that is, let's say I have a bunch of Trump holders, right? The Trump liquidity pool on Meteor is like $300 million. If I set up a migrate.fun and created a migration, and I convinced, 1% of the holder base to deposit into this migration, you then sell 1% of the Trump token supply literally into the LP for probably, $5 to $10 million. And then that gets moved into a Radium pool as a new token for whatever token that you want. So I think it
doesn't even have to be your token. It can be.
It doesn't have to be your token. It can be any token. Yeah. So you can vampire attack literally live liquidity pools. You could CTO live stuff, which I think is probably an underexplored area. So we're kind of working, running through thoughts on, how to, I guess you would say, make that idea go viral. All you need is really one successful person to go ahead and do that. I think everyone hates the Melania token. So if you convince people to do it to the Melania token, right, you could probably see 2-3 people start doing that. And then they start thinking about other projects. And then that's really kind of where it takes off.
Yeah. And what about the Soul token itself? Kind of having its own, like you do like a launch pad through migrate.fun, right? I mean, just say, hey, just put your Soul in here. You get this token on the other side.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting idea as well, actually.
So
yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that more. That's actually a pretty good idea.
So you can have your own launch pad right there, because you're basically doing the same thing that's a Trump token, but you're doing it with Soul itself. So
without locking them in, without locking that liquidity forever away. Where
it's a better launch pad.
Yeah, that is interesting, actually. I have to write that down. So we'd probably, if we're partnering with Radium, you'd probably want to use their Launch Lab SDK for a launch pad on platform.
That was a take some notes moment.
Yeah. I have literally so many notes. It literally never ends. But if you're a builder, I think that's probably the best way to go about it.
Well, this has been very fun, very informative. I hope to love the audience. I want you guys to make sure you guys are be a part of this. This is something super early, guys. And definitely, if you know at least minimum, just go in and start playing with Hustle today and kind of learning before you have to pay for it. So definitely be a part of that. But Jake, man, thank you so much. We'd love to give you the stage one last time.
Check out Agent Hustle, agenthustle.ai. Make sure you give them a follow on Twitter. Look and follow the Migrate Fund account. It's going to be live on July 1st. It'll be just the Hustle migration. So make sure you get your Tensorium, participate in the migration. Even if it's a small amount, just go through the experience. Like the front end developer's done a really good job making it feel very similar to some other crypto experiences, and also just dead easy. One click, you're done in a few seconds. And it takes away a lot of the nervousness that goes into migration into an overall amazing experience. So just make sure that you follow all of us, keep up to date. We're going to continue to build and have a good time, and always appreciate you guys for having me on.
For sure, for sure. Appreciate it, Jake. Jake, CEO from Emblem Vault, guys. Thank you so much, Jake. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, see you guys. Enjoy Friday.
You too.
Buddy. Thank you. Absolutely awesome as always, man. 2 hours and 28 minutes now. 899 people in here. It's been absolutely awesome, guys. Appreciate every single one of you guys. And until Monday, that's our show.
Yep. And it was a great day today. Dog got on Kraken, Runes. Excited for the future and everything we went over today. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Without you guys, we couldn't do this. But without our partners, we also couldn't do it. So if you could show them some support by checking them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for Runes or Alkanes, because they support Alkanes now, you got to do it at satsterminal.com. You're going to earn Amber points, which go towards a kind of future give back to early adopters for utilizing the Sats Terminal platform. You can earn Amber points in multiple ways, so make sure you're following them on X and check out their Amber is Forever campaign. But if you're going to swap for Doggo to the Moon, anything like that in a DeFi environment, you got to do it at satsterminal.com. Check them out. We appreciate you checking them out. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets in their Blitz markets. What are their Blitz markets? Their Blitz markets are a fun way to kind of leverage a bit. You can choose either Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana. You get a 10-minute countdown to lock in a price where you're happy with, to either go up or down from. Then an additional 10 minutes to see if you were right or wrong in that bet there. They have other traditional bets as well, but I would say, make sure you're following them because they're about to have a brand new makeover, guys, in terms of features, like everything. You're going to be able to create your own custom markets and earn 1.5% of the total volume. So if you're good at creating a social following, good at possibly creating some custom markets, you can really earn this way. Also, you're going to be able to earn by referring as well. You can earn 1% of the total transactional volume that way as well. Excited about what they're going to be bringing in the very near future, guys. Head over to betbtc.win to dive in today. And then Emblem Vault, we just talked about these guys. We had Jake on for an hour during the Emblem hour, but if you're going to be a part of that migration from the Tensor token to Hustle, make sure you are following the notes instructions on that Notion link in the chat on the YouTube and X side, guys. If you didn't have that link, make sure you're following Agent Hustle because he has all the information there. The migration's looking to start July 1st. It's very important. It's going to be a smaller window. If you miss it and you didn't follow all the news updates, that's on you guys. So make sure you're following that. But you're going to be able to use Hustle to guide your way through the jungles of Solana. Right now, you can do it until they enter that business model with the Hustle token. You can do it right now for free to check it out. You can create your own account. It'll create a brand new Solana wallet for you in there. It's a really fun process, but they're going to be adding the conditional trading very soon as well in their version 3. So make sure you're up to date on how to utilize Hustle. You're going to be able to utilize Hustle also in the near future, I think, maybe not near, maybe mid future, to be able to take over your ordinals from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Ethereum, Abstract, Base. Right now, you can take your Taproot Wizard over to Ethereum, to Gandhi, the biggest lending NFT platform on Ethereum. You can take out a loan against your Taproot Wizard. You can basically vault pretty much anything to take over there right now. Rev Pepe's, ordinals, all that stuff. So make sure you're following the Emblem account as well. They also have a TGE for their Emblem brand, the parent brand, for a Bitcoin Rune that's going to be happening in September/October. You can actually participate in a pre-sale environment on OpenSea. If you search Emblem Founder Vaults, you can purchase one of these pre-sale NFTs. And then once the TGE comes, the team will give you guys instructions how to get those Bitcoin Runes into your Bitcoin wallet. Head over to emblem.vision. The website is revamped and it has all the information you need to learn about their entire product suite there. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be launching very soon on Botonix, a Bitcoin layer 2 called the Spider Chain. Botonix going to be doing a co-promotion with their dApps that are going to be on their Bitcoin layer 2. Artura is a major one. You're going to be able to earn from both utilizing the Artura platform and the Botonix platform. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. You're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens on Artura eventually. They're going to start off with Bitcoin and Ethereum and then work their way to some of the popular tokens outside the ecosystem like XRP, Tau, etc. And then they'll get to the fungible tokens in the Bitcoin side, which is going to be really exciting because you're going to be able to trade dog go to the moon. If you missed an early market cap there, you can trade it with leverage. If you're not interested in trading leverage because it's too risky for you, you can actually participate in a passive way of earning by adding liquidity to their vaults there. Head over to artura.finance to learn more today. And then Fluid tokens, we talked about these guys for Fluid Friday. They just announced that they're going to be dropping the Alkanes airdrop tool in the next 48 hours. So for all you crazy Alkanes community people, you're going to be able to utilize the airdrop tool for airdropping Alkanes to your communities, right? So if you started a project there, you're going to be able to utilize that. You can do that right now for runes, and BRC20 is going to be coming very soon. Really simple process. You can upload a CSV file, which is a spreadsheet file for either Google Sheets or Excel, and it'll have all the addresses you put on there pre-propagated, and you just upload that. Or you can do it manually one by one. It's really, really efficient, cost-effective. We tested it out. It works like a charm. But if you're looking to stake on Bitcoin Layer 1, they offer staking vaults as well. They had a Dog Go to the Moon Season 1 and Season 2, all on Layer 1. Season 2 wrapped up. And so if you are part of the Season 2 staking experience, you got to claim your Dog Go to the Moon. You'll get your original token stake plus the rewards all in one transaction. They're going to have a Season 3 coming up because they are all about Dog Go to the Moon like everybody else. That should be towards the end of July, early August. So make sure you're paying attention to that. If you are a builder and you want a staking vault for your community, head over to their Discord. You're going to have some sort of established community. You know, doesn't have to be big, but you got to have an established community. They'll get you guys hooked up. They have a team waiting to answer all your questions. On the Cardano side, because they have a platform on Cardano, you can participate in their Aquarium platform, which you can earn Babel fees doing. So head over to fluidtokens.com, dive into their docs, join their community, friendly team. They are ready to help you guys out. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet. They are focused on building the best UI UX for everybody that wants to use a crypto wallet. They support Cardano and Bitcoin's ecosystems right now. You can actually swap for Dog Go to the Moon directly in the wallet as they partner with Sats Terminal, the DEX aggregator for Bitcoin. They also partnered with the DEX aggregator on the Cardano side. So you can swap for SNEC or FLDT, other tokens as well, including their token, which is the token. But if you have an iPhone, you want to head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, you want to head over to the Google Play Store to download these apps. Test them out. Let us know your feedback. We'll give the feedback to the team, but they are building the one-stop shop for crypto. They're going to have other ecosystems they're going to support in the near future. And you can find some crypto alpha on there because they have a little YouTube section as well. We're on there with some other YouTube accounts. I'm telling you, one-stop shop. They don't want you guys to leave, so it's convenient for you guys. Head over to Tokyo.io to dive in today. And then Merlin Chain is building the strength of Bitcoin's strength with the power of AI. They have their latest 0.3 version of their Wizard AI that guides you through the Merlin Chain ecosystem. You can do DeFi functionalities with the Wizard, swapping, staking, etc. And speaking of staking, if you head over to merlinchain.io, you can participate in keeping the chain secure by their proof of stake security, right? So you can either participate in the Bitcoin staking, which you stake Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. That one is a limited availability. So if you make it within the first 100 Bitcoins, you're good. They will announce if they expand that out. And then they also have the Merl staking for the Merlin Chain token, which is gaining more and more strength. They are on the Kraken roadmap. They are on OKX, a bunch of big exchanges, and they're on Binance Alpha as well as Prep. So hopefully, people can kind of forecast what might come next there. But you can stake the Merl token to secure the chain in two different options. The first one is the flexible. It's a 15% APR. It's a day-to-day, but when you do withdraw, it does take 7 days, so just know that. But you can claim your rewards on a day-to-day basis, so that's really cool. Also, the bonded is a 6-month lockup for the Merlin Chain token. It is a 45% APR, and then you can claim your rewards day-to-day there. Head over to merlinchain.io, dive into their docs as well, and check them out. And don't forget about our integrated partners in Jungle, formerly Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. They have also added support to Bitcoin Derby, and they're building a launchpad for people that want to own their own game. right? So make sure you're following their socials so you get updated on when that will be launched for you guys to have access to. And then Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace, cheapest Ordinals around. Big updates coming from these guys. You're going to find the cheapest Ordinals around on Ordinal Hive, and they have amazing trader tools. But make sure you're following all these guys' socials because they have some big updates coming here in the next week. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. We hope you enjoy your Friday as well.
Yep. Great job, man. A couple comments in here just came in. OnChain Revolution is king. Thank you, Hydra Sapien. Appreciate you, man. And Stan says, happy weekend, my guy. Really appreciate you guys, man, especially sticking around to the end here. But if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. Really feel like it can help them get started and caught up to where we are today. Check out this new article about Dog. It's all about it. Kind of learn about it if you don't know anything. So this is a great article for you. And if you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend every single person out there have a VPN. It's stupid not to. There is free ones out there, so get a free one if you don't want to pay for it. But if you want the best, it's $3 a month. I locked it in for $66 or whatever it was. Locked it in, set it, forget it. See you in two years. Don't got to worry about it no more. I'll have a VPN access whenever I need it. So when you go to something like NordVPN, you can set it to the area that you want to be from. Right. So for me right now, I think I have my VPN set for Italy because I'm able to use MEXC and some of the sites that don't normally let you use. Right. So if you want to use some of these places, you can do that. It is not your country that is stopping you. A lot of the times it's your website. It's not illegal to have a VPN. Privacy is allowed, and using a VPN gets you that. It gets you privacy. So definitely check that out. And if you guys need merch, you go through our third-party Shopify here. We update this stuff pretty frequently. We're going to be adding some new stuff here. We're going to be adding some Gizmo shirts. I think I'm going to do that this weekend and some stuff like that because I want one myself and kind of go from there. We got jackets, hats, school bags, and so much more. Check everything out here at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution, roll call, market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.